Okay, so it looks like we're live. What's up, everyone? I know it's really late. It's like 11:30 at night, so most of you probably aren't going to get this, but I had the time to do it, so I decided why not do another live stream. I know it's like what, 2 or 3 times a year that I that I actually do these things, and most of you guys don't get to see them because when I do stream, I decide to do it at weird times that don't make a lot of sense. And I'm sure a lot of you, especially my friends in the UK, are sleeping right now, so you're not going to get to see it. So I don't expect a lot of people to tune in, but it should still be a good time. So we're just it's just gonna be me bitching and complaining about video games for an hour and a half or so, because that's pretty much what I do every year. The State of Gaming address, where I just talk about how much I hate video games, even though I run a gaming channel, even though I talk about video games. The sad thing is, I spend a lot more time talking about video games at this point than actually playing them, which is kind of sad. Because, like, video games, it's something I should be enjoying, not that I should just have so much animosity towards. Like, if I hate it so much, you think I would just quit and just forget about it. But it's something that I've loved so much for so many years that it frustrates me that it's come to this point. That the video game industry, the state of video games in 2020 has reached such a low point, because I think it's just gotten worse and worse over the years with everything that's going on with the just the way that games are being released. The fact that you have games that come out these days that don't have to be finished. Like, they come out and it takes months, sometimes years, for them to be actually finished games. And a lot of times they never do get finished, right? What I'm talking about, of course, what I'm alluding to, is the whole notion of video games as a service. It's a term that I'm sure a lot of you have heard thrown around here and there. It's pretty much saying that a video game is not a product, right? So when you think of a product, you think of, like, I don't know, like a banana, or like a food product, or a PlayStation 4. That's a product, right? But a service is something that you continuously throw money at, kind of like a car payment, or not a car payment, like insurance, right? That's a service, because they're saying, okay, you pay your monthly premium for X amount of dollars a month, and in return, we cover you if anything goes wrong. That's a service, right? So now video games are being marketed as a service instead of a product, and I think that's bad. Like, I think that dilutes the quality of these games. It kind of dilutes the artistic vision that these games are supposed to have. Like, look, Anthem is a great example, right? That game from BioWare. I mean, BioWare is known for making the most compelling, engaging single-player narrative experiences. Now they're working on an online multiplayer, pretty much a third-person Destiny. That's the best way to describe Anthem. It's a third-person Destiny. Like, it's very uninspired, very boring. Most of the gameplay, most of the hours that you spend playing the game is grinding and repeating the same missions over and over and over and over again. And they keep putting out updates. Actually, I think Anthem hasn't actually gotten a lot of updates lately. Is that they're kind of, I don't know if it's on pause or if they're done with it. Like, I'm not following everything, but you can't tell me that Anthem and Mass Effect are even on the same level as each other. And you think of all these other developers that were once beloved by the video game community and were known for delivering the highest quality gaming experience possible. BioWare is a good example of one of them that is completely lost its reputation, as being one of those great developers. What's the other one? Bethesda Game Studios, remember them? It's like only a few short years ago were they so highly regarded as one of the greatest video game developers ever, and the most consumer-friendly. That seems like a long, long time ago when you think about everything that happened with Fallout 76 and all that shit. It's just incredible. I mean, to be fair, though, I mean, when you had games like Skyrim and Fallout 4, like, those games, when they launched, Fallout 3 also, they were broken. And a lot of those bugs that were launched with the game were never fixed. But it looks like we got a comment from John Kill 3D, which we know EA pushed for that. They have good studios beneath them and basically won't use these studios correctly. A Mass Effect collection would have been a better investment than Anthem. Well, that's the thing about Anthem, right? They don't care if you like the game or not. Like, so if the reviews are good or the reviews are bad, like, they don't care about reviews. They don't care about people complaining on the internet. The only thing they care about is that people keep investing in the service. And the thing with Anthem is that game, by any metric you measure by, it's a complete failure. So that didn't really work out so well for EA. But, you know, with other games, like the new Call of Duty games, for example, or Fallout 76 is actually a really perfect example of this. We were talking about Bethesda Game Studios, right? Okay, they released Fallout 4, they released Skyrim, right? They release these big blockbuster games every, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And it makes them a lot of money, but, you know, once you buy the game, they can't really get much more money out of you, right? You have DLC. You know, with Skyrim, they released a few DLC. With Fallout 4, they released a few DLC. But there's not as much earning potential with those games as there is for live service games like Fallout 76. And it sounds crazy to think that Bethesda can make a lot more money out of a game as shitty as Fallout 76. But the fact is, that game has a pretty healthy player base. You have a lot of people that play the game. Not only do they buy the game to play it, but they also buy the atoms, which is their in-game currency. So they keep releasing these updates. You know, you had the Wastelander update to try to get new players to come in, and it's all a means to an end. The purpose of Fallout 76 is not to get rave reviews, to get 9 out of 10s, is to win people over in the gaming community, because Bethesda doesn't give a fuck about that. Like, I mean, I'm sure they don't want to have a bad reputation. Well, what matters the most is how much money they're making. And I can guarantee you, Fallout 76, despite all the problems with it, is making Bethesda a lot of money. And that's just something to think about. You know, when people keep talking about the video game industry, about how downhill it's gone, but, like, the thing is, like, if people keep putting money into these games, like, do you expect the results to be any different? Hey, Dr. Dan, thank you for tuning in. I remember last time I did a stream you were disappointed that you missed it. Well, here you are now. John Kill 3D. It's funny how all the pushback and gambling restrictions coming into play. EA is basically now forced to make games be games. Fallen Order and Battlefront 2 shows that EA has no choice. Yeah, I think you're right about the fact that, like, it does work. Like, when we do push back, when we do say, hey, enough is enough, we're not going to stand up for this shit. Like, you have, with Battlefront 2, it is actually a really good example of the gaming community rising up and actually standing up and making a difference. Because usually with these games, you have people bitching, complaining on Twitter, but nothing really gets done. Like, nothing really happens. So with Battlefront 2, something actually did happen. You actually had EA, they were forced to make the change. So that's kind of the point, the greater point that I'm trying to get at, is that we, the consumer, do have the power to make things change by voting with our wallet. And EA made the calculation that, okay, they can keep selling the loot boxes with the cosmetics and everything, and it'll keep people engaged. It'll still be a live service. You know, Battlefront 2 kept getting updates. I think they just discontinued support of it, like, last month or something. So that's what? 2 years of support, which is actually pretty good. And I'm saying that at the end of the day, I'm happy with what happened with Battlefront 2. I'm not going to compare it to the original Battlefront 2 because I just don't think it's a fair comparison. I really don't think that EA's Battlefront games hold a candle to the originals. But let me just read these comments here. Dr. Daniel says, to be honest with me, after the 7th generation, the gaming industry just went downhill as games became the same thing over and over, and of course the live service business model is rampant, which is why I haven't really bought any new game. And that's the thing, man. Like, I keep saying these in my gameplay commentaries, you know, the videos that I keep putting out, that in the past 2 years, I bought 2 new games. 2018 was Red Dead Redemption 2, and the funny thing is, I didn't even buy that game at launch. Like, I bought it like 3 weeks later. But I consider that new because I still paid $60 for it. And actually, no, I think it was 3 new games. I bought Detroit Become Human, like, in the middle of 2018. And I played this game like, okay, you know, Detroit Become Human is awesome. I'm not going to try to say that Quantic Dream is terrible and it's an awful game. But it's like, okay, yeah, I got a lot of hours out of it. You know, people keep making the case that, well, you know, Detroit Become Human, it's probably like 20 hours just playing through it once. And then you have all the other alternate choices you can make. It's kind of like, not like those Telltale games, because I feel like Quantic Dream does a better job at making your choices actually matter. But it's similar in the sense that it's more of like an interactive, point-and-click, quick-time adventure. And I'm fine with that. Like, I like those kinds of games, but paying $60 for it, like, I kind of felt like, meh, was it really worth it? But, well, John Kill 3D says, it was funny that I was the first to call the types of changes, but was called a liar, but then boom, it became the best. 3 years of support and comparing always raises to many expectations. Dr. Daniel 316, I think the most recent game I got was Hitman 2 from 2018. I bought the DLC to have the levels from Hitman 2016. I also bought Killing Floor 2, which came out in 2016, so yeah. I do have Killing Floor 2, but I got it free on PlayStation Plus, but I don't have access to it anymore because I refuse to play my games online. I think that's bullshit, and I finally wised up to that. And Dr. Daniel continues, actually a friend got me a key for Hitman 2, and I got the DLC for it. It has actually been really good, and it's one of the few games that does focus on great and fun gameplay as opposed to making money. I will say, as far as Red Dead Redemption 2 goes, never touched the online, so I don't know if it's good or bad, but just playing the single player alone, I'm like, yeah, it was worth the $60. And the thing is, Rockstar is kind of also, I was naming a list of developers like BioWare, Bethesda Game Studios, as all these developers that have kind of fallen out of the good graces, have definitely lost their touch over the years, because they decided to focus on one or two games to milk them. Like Fallout 76 is a good example. I think a big reason why the Elder Scrolls 6 hasn't happened yet is because of Fallout 76. I know, like Todd Howard has said, it's because the technology isn't there yet. We're going to wait until next gen. But it's that, and also people keep buying Skyrim all over again. So why would they make a new game if they just keep making money off of the same recycled shit over and over again? It pays to recycle content. But I will say, as far as Red Dead Redemption 2 goes, I'm actually really happy with that purchase. Modern Warfare 2019, not so much. That game is a train wreck. Anyone who actually plays that, I feel sorry for you. Doom Eternal is the last full price game I've paid for. I've actually gotten a lot of shit for criticizing Doom Eternal because it's one of those games that I feel is part of the problem, right? Where we as consumers have kind of come to expect less out of games these days, right? Not only with the whole live service where you kind of expect a game to not be finished and to have problems at launch and then wait to get fixed later. Like, okay, with DayZ, they advertise it as early access, but with these modern AAA games, it's the exact same thing as what DayZ originally was. And the ironic thing is that DayZ is finally finished, and all these AAA games, like, they're in early access. I just think that's funny. Dr. Daniel says, Killing Floor 2 actually was free on the Epic Games Store not too long ago. I think the deadline was yesterday. And John Kill 3D, Red Dead Redemption Online won't be big until next generation. Just look at what happened to GTA 5. They definitely will re-release Red Dead Redemption, but they're going to focus on GTA 5 on PS5 for $70. How many of you are actually going to pay $70 for GTA 5? I mean, how many of you are actually going to buy GTA 5 for the third time? I mean, if you got it on PC, you don't really need to anyway, but I don't know if that's going to work out very well. But going back to Doom Eternal, right, because I keep getting sidetracked, I want to make sure I get to all your comments. Doom Eternal is a game that I had so many high hopes for, and just judging it by its single player, it's amazing, right? But going from Doom 2016 to Doom Eternal, in my opinion, is a big letdown. I love Doom 2016, okay? The single player is good, but the thing about the single player is I don't think that Doom single player is worth $60. I don't. Because you play it once, and there's really nothing else to do after. Okay, maybe, like, play it at the highest difficulty, Nightmare but most Doom players, they do that already. They play at Nightmare difficulty and go through it. So once you get through it at Nightmare difficulty, what else is there to do for any of these Doom single-player campaigns? Like, is it worth replaying it? Like, it's so boring because you played through it already. So the big thing to me, and the most hours I spent on Doom 2016 was the multiplayer, because, I mean, I know multiplayer for Doom 2016 got a lot of shit. I understand that, and people have a lot of valid criticisms for it, mainly the Quake people going to Doom 2016 saying this is not a real arena shooter. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but you guys have Quake Champions, and even though Quake Champions isn't great, like, Doom did its own thing. Like, Doom and Quake, I hate how people keep comparing those two games to each other. Magnum Master's in the chat, so he can definitely attest to that. But let me just get through these comments before I continue, because I don't want to miss any comments. Like, I appreciate all of you who are tuning in, and I don't want to neglect you guys. Dr. Dan, man, GTA 5 is like a good game, but the focus on online and not including new content for single player is shitty. I do play online, but only with friends, and I never pay for microtransactions. Well, that's the thing. They keep re-releasing GTA 5 because people keep buying the shark cards. People keep buying the microtransactions. So it just pays a lot more for them to keep re-releasing GTA 5 and keep that game relevant compared to releasing GTA 6, which will cost them, what, hundreds of millions of dollars? You know, what pays a lot more? They're just sitting on money at this point. Like, GTA 5 is a money printing machine. Sure, they update it and they fix it and they do whatever. Like, they keep re-releasing updates, giving us new cars, new weapons, new game modes, but those are all things that you really can't feasibly acquire without spending a lot of money, and you get that money, the GTA money, through shark cards. And that's how they make the money. You notice that over the past 6 years since GTA 5 originally came out, or GTA Online, you could say, the prices for these items has gone up quite significantly. Like, I remember you had the, what was it called? The Bugatti in GTA 5. I forgot what, the Adder, that's the name of the car in GTA 5. That was like, there was a time when that was the most expensive car in the game. There was a time when that was the most expensive car. It was like, what, 1.2 million in 2013? Now the most expensive car is probably like, what, $7-8 million? And all the new cars that keep adding in are at least $3 million. And of course you're going to upgrade the car. Of course you're going to upgrade the transmission, and et cetera, et cetera. That'll cost you another $1 million just to upgrade it. But the thing is, people get invested in it. And with, as far as GTA Online goes, I'm not going to lie, I pretty much no-life that game in my sophomore year of high school. And I actually spent $200, probably $300 on microtransactions. Yeah. Not my proudest moment, but it's something that I did. And I kind of learned from that, and I've gotten older, and I realized, like, that's just me pissing money down the drain. Never to do that again. But you have a lot of 15-year-old kids right now that are just as stupid as I was when I was 15, and they keep spending their money on these worthless microtransactions. Instead, you could buy a new console with the amount of money that these kids put on the microtransactions. But Dude Scrub, yes, I am the one who talked to Bullet Barry. Me and Barry are actually good friends. He's actually one of the few people that I talk to on the internet that I actually consider, like, a good friend. Yeah, Bullet Barry is fucking awesome. Like, he's one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. Magnum Master says, I will say Eternal should also get Snap Map and Arcade Mode. Those add a lot to Doom 4. Yeah, Doom Eternal needs Deathmatch. That's all I give a fuck about. But even the other map, like Clan Arena, what was that thing? I forget what it's called. Where there's like an objective, but it keeps moving around the map. I don't even remember what it's called, but that shit was fun. Bring all that shit in. Because, okay, battle mode, whatever the fuck it's called, is cool, but that's not enough. It's just not enough. Doom 2016 multiplayer felt like the old school versus mode from way back then. Dr. Dan says, thing with the old Dooms is I bought them for cheap, as they were like $5 each for Doom 1, 2, and 3. And I think Doom 2016 was like $4 or $7 on sale, but I probably wouldn't pay $60 for Doom as much as I do enjoy them. Yeah, like if it was $10, if Doom Eternal right now is like $10, I'd buy it. But I don't think it's worth $60 because they don't have the multiplayer, which is something they had in 2016. So the point I'm trying to make is that people are kind of content with getting less content than, even though it's a sequel. A sequel is supposed to improve upon and be a better version of the original. Even The Last of Us 2. Forget all the bullshit about all the controversy with certain narrative decisions they made in the single player. Where the fuck is the multiplayer? Where the fuck is it? Like, that's my main concern. You cut half the game out of the sequel. I'm not gonna buy it. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. Let's see if I missed any comments, because they just keep coming and coming. Magnum Master, I got GTA 5 for free and still feel scammed with how shit that game is. So true. I got that game for free on Epic, and I touched it, like, I played it for like a few hours, and I'm like, holy shit. It's just like, I would have to treat this game like a 9-to-5 job. in order to get any enjoyment out of it. And at that point, I wouldn't be enjoying it because I'd be wasting my life away playing a shitty game. Dude Scrub says, Doom Eternal, in my opinion, felt unnecessary and boring. It's more like a $25 game, not a $60. Yes, that's the problem with Doom Eternal. Not saying it's a bad game, but it's definitely overpriced. Dr. Dan, to be honest, I never spent $60 on a new game ever since I switched to PC in late 2017. Probably because I don't really have my own money yet, but hopefully I can get a job at some point. Well, let me tell you something, okay? It's not about having a job or not having a job as far as I go, because I'm starting work very soon, and I will have a lot of money to spend on these video games, just I choose not to because I think it's a waste. Why spend $60 to be disappointed and let down? Like, if I want to spend $60 and be disappointed, I would get a blowjob from a transgender or something. I don't know. That was a really bad... I'm gonna get canceled, but whatever. John Kill 3D. You could buy Doom 3 that comes with all its expansions for $10, including Doom Classic and Doom 2 Classic, for only $5 a piece, and now Doom 64 for only $4, so the whole Classic Doom series for $25. Well, that's pretty good. And that's the thing, man. It's not that I hate video games so much. It's not that I don't want to play them. The big thing is, I just don't think they're worth $60. Never mind $70. They're going to raise the price to $70. Good luck with that. I don't think that's going to fly. I mean, I think there are a lot of people like me that already aren't going to pay $60. But the thing is, like, I'm very patient. Okay? I'm not like everybody else that needs to follow and hop on the latest trends and be part of all that shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about if I get to play the game on day one or if I get to play it 10 years after it came out. Guys, I still enjoy the shit out of Red Dead Redemption 1. And yeah, I played that game. I bought it back in the day, so maybe that's a big reason why I like that game so much. But, like, I feel like 10 years later, that game still holds up very well, and I'd rather play that than Red Dead Redemption 2. I'd rather play that, and even games like that I haven't played back in its prime. Dragon Age Origins, I didn't play that game until 2017, and it became one of my favorite games of all time. 8 years after it came out. I mean, there's no game that I played in a long time that has hooked me as much as Dragon Age Origins. And yeah, it's outdated. It came out on the 360, PS3 days. But I think it still holds up great because the story is amazing. The lore, it's just so... It hooks you in. It's so immersive. Dude Scrub says, I stopped caring about games, to be honest. I just saved my money on other things. Getting VR was cool at first and felt nice, but I still just don't think games are worth it in this day and age. And you especially realize that when you get older, that video games really aren't the most important thing in life. Like, when you're 12 or 13, oh my god, Call of Duty and everything, like, that's fucking life, man. Like, all these video games are fucking amazing. Like, they're the best thing that's ever happened to you. You know, it's a good escape from school and everything, and, you know, it's great. But once you get older, you realize, like, there's so much more important things in life than just sitting all day with a controller or a keyboard and mouse and just wasting away, even if it's an amazing game. Like, Fallout 4. I'm not gonna lie, I probably put, like, at least 3,000 hours into that game over a period of 3 years. That's a lot of time. How many hours are in a year? I'm curious to know that, because I put a lot of hours into Fallout 4. Like, there'd be days where I would get up in the morning, or maybe, like, more like late afternoon, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it would be like 10 a.m., and I'm still playing. Like, that's the fucking, like, I realized I had a problem. So I stopped. And then I realized, like, this is time that I'm not really using productively. Like, it's gotta stop. Like, part of me is afraid of playing these huge single-player games like The Witcher, because I'm afraid that I can't stop. It's like binge-watching your favorite TV series. Like, oh my god. I saw a lot of Sopranos. During this quarantine, I saw a lot of Sopranos, and I just kept watching it and watching it and watching it. But I kept it cool. I'm like, hey, like, 2 episodes a day, max. Like, you gotta limit yourself. You can do anything you want in moderation. When you get too carried away, Not good. A year has I love how people looked it up for me. 8,760 hours. So 3,002 years. I also played other games. It's not like I just played Fallout 4. So I played a lot of video games. Like, there was a time when I had nothing going on in my life. No school, no job, nothing. And literally what I would do, it was the same thing with the Mass Effect trilogy also, because I got into the Mass Effect trilogy years after it came out. And I would get up. This is the worst thing that I've ever fucking done in my life. I would go to bed at 9 o'clock in the morning, get up at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, play Mass Effect all night long, and start it all over again. Like, I would go out, I would eat breakfast at like 8:30, and that would be my last meal of the day. And then I'd sleep all day, get up, and play more video games. This is like about 3 years ago that I did this, back when I was the console king. Yeah, my life was fucking train wreck back then. If you guys didn't realize that, like, with the fucking greasy ass hair, and my hair is still a little fucked up, but not like it was back then. The really bad mustache, and I do kind of have some facial hair going on, but I mean, you guys know what I looked like back then. I looked fucking terrible. I looked fucking awful. And the thing is, like, that was a really bad time in my life, and I guess I kind of used the console king as a way to kind of embrace how shitty everything was in life. Be like, okay, if fucking life hates me, I don't care if people on the internet hate me also. That's the thing. That's the thing about it. Like, I was fucking terrible. If you like RPGs, check out Risen, one of the best games to ever be made in Germany. I guess I'll check that out. What's funny is, Dude Scrub says, what's funny is most free games at this point crush any game over $25, or something like Noisha. I've never even heard of that. Binding of Isaac I heard of, because that's Bullet Barry's favorite game I never stops fucking talking about. He's always playing that shit. I'm like, dude, why do you like that game so much? He's like, it's the best game ever. I'm sure he just, like, he sniffs, he eats all his fucking shrooms, and then he gets into Binding of Isaac, and it's like a whole fucking thing with that guy. I don't know. That's like part of his that's part of his daily routine. Eat shrooms for breakfast, play Binding of Isaac all day. That's the day in the life of Bullet Barry. Nintendo hasn't ever really had any GTA game other than Chinatown Wars. Can I be honest with you guys? I think Chinatown Wars fucking sucked. Like, I think that game was fucking, like, I just didn't like it. Like, GTA in 2D, I just didn't think it worked. Like, coming out of GTA 4, like, I was really let down by Chinatown Wars. Definitely. Definitely let down by that. Oh, Magnum Master says, I didn't look it up, I did the math. Well, whoa, good for you. Like, how would that work? Okay, there are 24 hours in a day, right? So that would be 24 times 365, and you could just do that in your head. I could not do that in my head. I'm fucking retarded. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm fucking retarded. Like, why do people watch my shit? Why do people, like, actually care about what I say? Like, I'm fucking stupid. And I'm not even intoxicated. Like, if you guys think, like, I smoked a good joint before and I'm just saying wild shit, like, this is just who I am. This is just who I am as a person. And that's why no one fucking likes me. And this is why I don't stream very much, because I'm a little bit too open about myself. And I really expose myself. In a way that I probably shouldn't. John Kill3D, I give that $70 price point about a year because there will be so much pushback against that. When games won't sell and they realize people are still on this generation, even with new gen. Yeah, no, $70 isn't going to work. Like, I don't think that's really going to... Okay, so 2K is doing it. I feel like as far as the other publishers, they're just waiting to see what happens with 2K. Like, if NBA 2K21 sells well, okay, they're going to follow them, obviously. Like, that's the thing about trends. Like, Battle Royale is a good example. Like, okay, Fortnite was fucking huge, so everyone else was hopping on the Battle Royale trend. And I think the same things is true with $70, that 2K is pushing hard for it. And as far as the EA, Activision, all those other guys, like, they're just waiting to see, like, okay, is $70, like, are people going to actually embrace this? Are people going to buy it? And how much money are they going to make, etc.? Like, all the publishers are just on standby right now. And that's the thing you guys need to realize about the gaming industry. Like, okay, it takes one shitty company to do something But if it works, everyone else is going to follow. Good example is with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. You know, we have this reputation about how Sony is so consumer friendly, about how they're looking out for the gamer. I mean, not so much anymore, but in 2013, like, you had so many Sony cocksuckers out there. Let's be real. Everyone was sucking Sony's dick. Because they were like, oh yeah, we support used games. You know, you can have physical games. And Microsoft, they had their DRM, right? We're the good guys. They only did that because Microsoft had a fucking PR disaster. Do you not think if everyone had no problem buying the Xbox One, that Sony would be doing the exact same DRM shit that Microsoft planned on doing? Just something to think about. So, it's not about these corporations being greedy. It's about you motherfuckers that keep supporting them no matter what. I'm not saying you as in the people in the chat. There's the people who are watching, like, you guys are smart. You guys are smart people, but the average person is not. Magnum Master says, basically, I was always good at math. I actually have a funny story about that. So, my last semester of college, which was during this whole COVID disaster, actually had a math class, because that was the one gen ed class I had to do left before I finished my degree, and I was fucking scared of taking math, because math is, like, my worst subject. I'm like, oh, fuck, I have to take a math class. Like, I have to do it to graduate, but I kept putting it off for the longest time. Because my first college actually did take a math class, but for some reason those credits didn't transfer to my new school, and I got, like, a C. So I'm like, fuck. Like, I am so fucked taking this class. But it ended up being, like, a fucking retard math class that was, like, for retards. And, yeah, I'm fucking retarded, but, like, I was, like, the fucking smartest person in that class, which is scary. Like, people were asking me how to do math problems. I'm like, oh, something's wrong. Because back in high school, back in middle school, I was this close to failing all my math classes. And in college, people were coming to me for help. Like, something's wrong. It's funny now, because Sony and Microsoft are likely to try to get rid of the physical market again. Yeah, remember the video I made about it not too long ago, talking about Sony and Microsoft releasing discless consoles? They want that to happen because they make the most money when you buy games from the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store, right? And I mentioned this in my video before, but I'm just going to reiterate it. They want the physical market gone because, first of all, as far as buying new games, that's more profits for them. And also more profits for the publisher. Because with GameStop, like, they get a cut. Like, if you buy a new game at GameStop doesn't make a lot of money out of that, by the way. That's why you notice when you go to GameStop, they try to sell you used games for $55. It's like a $5 difference for a used game. Like, no thanks. But they're trying to make as much money as they possibly can. There are actually a lot of times where they took used games and deliberately manipulated people into thinking those used games were new and tricked you into buying it, so they made a lot of money that way. GameStop is a fucking terrible company. They're a great example of how fucked up everything is, and that's why, like, if the physical market does go away, like, people are not gonna fucking mourn GameStop. Like, they're actually voted one of the worst companies to work for because they treat their employees like shit. I almost got a job there. Good thing that fell through because I would have been fucking miserable. But that's the thing. Okay, so GameStop, if you buy a new game on PlayStation 4, you go to GameStop, you buy it, Sony doesn't make as much money if you just buy it straight on the PlayStation Store, no middleman, right? Because only Sony and the publisher make money if you buy it digitally, but if you buy it physically, it gets split between the retailer, which is either GameStop, Walmart, etc., then it's also Sony, and the publisher, so it's three ways. So that's, Sony gets a smaller piece of the pie. There's also used games. That's the big thing. Used games is the big threat to Sony. Because here's this secondhand market where games are so much cheaper than they ever could possibly be digitally. Sony makes no money off of that. Publishers make no money off of that. So it's within the best interest of Sony and Microsoft to try to get rid of the physical market once and for all. And it might work. Because people just don't give a... Like, PC gamers obviously don't give a fuck. Because there's no such thing as a physical market on PC, really. I mean, you do have some physical releases, but you notice if you get a physical PC release, like, it's pretty much just a collector's item. Like, you open the case, and it's just like, oh, here's a digital Steam code. Like, what's the fucking point? Magnum Master says, basically, if you want to play games on the go, the Vita provides the best library once you hack it. Just few people like it because unhacked it has very little offer. I fucking hated the Vita. If you love Japanese games, the Vita is fucking awesome. But if you don't, like, I don't really care about that fucking weeaboo shit. Vita didn't really have much for me. So when the Vita came out, it had... Actually, that was the only console I ever bought at launch, and I fucking regretted it. And the Vita convinced me never to buy a system at launch ever again, because the Vita, they had... What did they have? Uncharted Golden Abyss. They had, you know, a couple of games that were just cheap cash-ins. Like, they weren't really anything special. They were just gimmicks. They try to get you to use the touchpad, the touchscreen, and the touchpad on the back of that console. Whatever the fuck. Vita was no PSP. Let's just put it that way. The Vita was no PSP. Last time I went to GameStop was to get a used Xbox 360 game, Dr. Daniel. Oh wait, no, it was a used PS3. John Kill 3D, I had my account modded, so I never needed to renew PSN. It's been on since 2013 and never had to renew since then. So I played free online this generation, LOL Master Life. Well, that's good for you. You know, I kind of got my own little way of doing it, but it's not illegally. I use Xbox Live. I got Bing rewards. I literally, what I do all day is, well, I don't do it just to get Xbox. I just, if I have to do a Google search, I just do a Bing search instead, and Microsoft pays me in Microsoft points that I can use to redeem for Xbox Live. So, technically, I'm paying for online, but not with any real money. And also, because of my Xbox Live, my Call of Duty channel is doing really well. It's actually on track to overtake this one, which is kind of crazy. I already have 300 subs on that channel, and I started posting 3 months ago. Like, posting regularly 3 months ago. Already has 300 subs. It's actually 340. Yeah. I think within the year, like, basing off of the subscriber count, Mr. Noob2 Gamer, my second channel, is on track to overtake this one in terms of views. Well, in terms of views, my second channel has a tenth of the subscriber base, but only has, like... I looked at the stats today, actually, just out of curiosity. This main channel, Chad Jackson, has 29,000 views in the last 28 days. Which is not a lot, really. But my Mr. Noob2 Gamer channel had 24,000. And it has a tenth of the subscriber base. This has 3,400. My second channel has 340. So that's 10% of what my main channel has with a comparable view count. So something's happening right now with this second channel, and I'm going to keep posting on there. I'm not going to abandon this channel, but it's really interesting. Really interesting. Meaning to ask, is this the same John Kill 3D Gaming that Rags reacted to a few years ago? Oh yeah, I remember John Kill. Oh yeah, that's you, John Kill 3D. Yeah, we're both victims of Rags. Nautica. I had a Vita for 6 years, and looking back, I think I might have used the Vita more YouTube than playing games. Yo, that's a good story, actually, I have. Back then, I didn't have my first cell phone until I was, like, 15. So, throughout, like, my entire freshman year of high school, I didn't have a cell phone. I don't know how I survived, but, like, it's not like my parents said, like, you want a cell phone? I'm like, nah, get me, like, a PlayStation 4 instead. So they got me a PS4, because they were offering to get me, like, a nice phone. I'm like, I don't really need it. Like, I got Facebook, I got everything. So, my main mobile device back then was actually the PlayStation Vita. So I'd make posts on Twitter and Facebook, and you know how, like, when you're on your iPhone, and you make a post on Facebook or Twitter, it says sent from iPhone? Well, when I made a post on social media, it said sent from PS Vita. And people are looking at me like, who the fuck makes a post on PlayStation Vita? So people actually come to me in school and be like, oh yeah, how's your PlayStation Vita? Like, it's just stupid shit. But I thought that was funny. I love playing World at War like that as well. Oh, I started using Bing Rewards. I keep at it. I can get some PC games on the Microsoft Store for free. Cool. That's really cool. Dr. Daniel says, I kind of wish I got to play the real version of World at War when it came out back then. I had the DS version as a kid. Magnum Master tried to get me on the PC version. I fucking hated it because you had, like, what was it, like 50 players in these fucking tiny, like, okay, so you had these big-ass maps, but then even 50 players, like, it's not, or 40 players, whatever the fuck it was, like, it just did not work well. I didn't like it. So, I mean, Call of Duty on PC, like, I'd have no problem just getting rid of Xbox and playing all my games on PC, like, including Call of Duty. I just don't think Call of Duty plays very well on PC. Like, every other game plays fine on PC, but Call of Duty, these PC gamers, like, when they mod Call of Duty, like, I just don't like it. For some reason, I just don't like all these PC mods they have out there, like Modern Warfare 2's mods. They removed the noob tube. The PC modders took out the noob tube. Like, I'm not playing. My gamer tag's Mr. Noob Tube. You think I'm gonna play that? Then go on a 28-player server, dude. That's still too much. Okay, so you have a lot of big-ass maps, especially the ones with the tanks, but, like, maps like Castle and Cliffside, 28 players is too fucking much, man. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, that's just way too much. But, yeah, I just, what the fuck was I even talking about? I was talking about something and then I got sidetracked with all the comments. I guess it doesn't matter because we're having a good time, right? We're all having a good time over here. How are you guys doing, by the way, with the whole COVID shit? Like, have you guys used that time to just, like, go through your backlog or just, like, chill or do whatever? Like, it was the shittiest time for me because it was my last semester of high school, and it's just totally high school. My last semester of college. It was my last semester of college during this coronavirus shit. I went on spring break and never got back. Basically. It's just not a good time. Like, I really didn't want... And then the job market, now I'm a graduate. It's just awful. I got, like, a part-time gig, temporary shit. Like, I don't even have a real job yet. So, I mean, my part-time gig is paying, like, is paying $20 an hour, 40 hours a week, but that's only going to last for, like, 2 months. So, it's tough out there, guys. It really sucks. So, if you guys are still in school, I'm not even going to say, like, enjoy yourself, because it must suck right now, like, not being able to hang out with friends and shit like that. Ugh. It's just gotta fucking suck, man. Like, it's a shitty thing. And no end in sight, by the way. And, like, not to get political or anything, I try to detach politics from this channel as much as I can. But, just, like, no matter what side we're talking about, like, why is this politicized? Why? It's fucking shit. Like, when I turn on the TV and watch the news, like, I just want to fucking kill myself. And you guys guess what my... Okay, the first person to guess what I majored in college, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm going to give you. I'll give you a game on Steam. If you can... the first person that guesses what my major was in college, I'll give you a free game on Steam. But Magnum Master says, doing okay. Used it to play a ton more video games. Got 3 platinum trophies on PS3 in a single month. Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, Magnum Master, I remember you told me you got a PS3 and you've been playing a lot of that shit. PS3, I think that's one of the most slept-on consoles of all time, by the way. PS3 is fucking awesome. Dr. Dan says, you know, funny you mentioned that, because that happened with me. This year was my final year of high school. Went on spring break and we never went back. Yeah. It's fucking shit. Now, all I can really do is sit at home and play games, which while I usually do that, it just feels more depressing now. Well, the thing is, like, have you guys noticed I've been a lot more active on YouTube lately, like, than I had been before? Like, usually, like, I make a YouTube video once a week, once every 2 weeks, maybe even, like, once a month. Like, last summer, I made, like, one YouTube video during the entire summer, and I had a lot of free time. It wasn't like, oh, I'm so busy, I have a life, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's not really, like... I just didn't care about YouTube, but now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn this into something productive. Like, I play video games anyway, might as well make a little extra cash on the side. So, you know, if yours that's so to give you advice, Dr. Dan, I don't know, maybe like you don't feel comfortable making videos. I don't know, I don't even know if you have a channel. Maybe you do. I haven't really looked at your shit before. But do something like that. Like, do something that like you feel productive doing, like a YouTube channel or something. Dr. Daniel says gaming design. Gaming design is not my major. I wish. Be making a lot more money right now, but I'd also be worked to death like a fucking Chinaman. Like, I'd be working like 80 hours a week, and I'd be making shit money. Like, gaming design, I looked into it. That was my ambition when I was a kid. I'm like, I want to be a game designer. Actually, like, when I was in high school, I made a plan to go to Full Sail University in Florida and, like, actually make a career out of this, because I'm like, well, if I love video games so much, I should have no problem making them, right? No. I have zero skills when it comes to programming, designing. I'm not very artistic. It's just not me, so no. You're wrong, Dr. Dan. Magna Master 1801 wasn't your major politics. Ding, ding, ding. But I don't think that counts, because I think I told you that was my... But I'll give you a free game anyway. Yeah, my major is fucking politics, thing that I fucking hate. Do you guys remember back in the day? I had this channel, but I also had a political channel. You guys notice I don't make political videos anymore? Like, I don't have a political channel. I don't post politics. This is what I chose for a career path. Yeah, not the smartest choice on my behalf. I regret it. I fucking regret it. But at the same time, I'm thinking, like, what else would I do? I'm not STEM material, let's face it. Right? As far as trade school, like, I looked into, like, you know, okay, maybe I could be a mechanic. Maybe I could be, like, a welder. But, like, you know, I was taught when I was a kid... You know, I feel like that's changed a lot these days. Like, there's a lot of bad stigma towards college, actually, over the past couple of years. Like, oh, getting these useless degrees. And I guess that's always been there. Like, since the dawn of, like, for the past, like, 20 years at least. Because back then, you just go to college, jerk off for 4 years. You get a job offer, like, immediately. Even with no work experience. But that's changed a lot these days. That's definitely changed a lot. And Magna Master says, yeah, you told me I cheated. But it's like... I was told, like, from my parents and from everybody, like, you're going to college. Like, it wasn't even like, oh, you know, explore your options, go to trade school, blah, 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 blah. Like, I never even heard that, ever. I didn't even know that, like, know anything about, like, careers outside of college until I was already enrolled. And it came to a point where I was like, okay, I've already been here for 1 year, 2 years. I might as well see it through, right? And, you know, you could say, oh my god, you're fucking stupid. You spent all this money, you got into debt for a useless degree, but no. No debt for me. So at least I was smart. I went to a state school, I did everything I was supposed to do, and I got my own way through college, and I don't owe a dime. Which is not what I can say for most of my colleagues. They're gonna owe a lot of money, like 6 figures. Even people who went to a state school, because they took out loans for room and board. I lived like 30 minutes away, even though I went to a dormitory school. Like, why the fuck would I spend all this money going to a fucking dorm for the college experience? The only college experience I'm having right now is with the fucking solo cup that you always have at the frat parties. Like, that's... I'm not much of a drinker. I'm not much of, like, anything like that. So I don't really care about all that bullshit. It's not worth going into debt for. So I guess I kind of played it smart, but I also, like, didn't, because... I guess I got a useless degree. It's only useless because I don't want to use it. Like, I fucking hate politics. I don't know what I was thinking. Dr. Dan says, I do make gameplay videos to pass the time, but I don't post as often as I frankly could. I think I still have time to finish uploading my playthrough of one of my all-time favorite games, James Bond 007, Agent Under Fire on GameCube. It is all recorded, actually, just waiting to be uploaded, but I'm quite lazy, so I forgot to upload my videos. Well... I actually made a playthrough of Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, and I still have a lot of videos I haven't uploaded yet, just because, like, it takes 2 hours to upload. It takes 2 fucking hours to upload a video, even with my better internet, like, because these files are fucking massive, because when I got my Elgato, you know, to record the Xbox One, I'm using the highest possible settings. I'm putting my fucking computer to its very fucking limits because I have a really nice gaming PC. So, that thing takes a fucking long-ass time to render, and the file size is like 20 gigabytes or something crazy. Like, when I upload videos, I make sure it's the highest quality it could possibly be. Yeah, bro, man, my degree is political science. It's a BS degree, also known as a Bachelor's of Science. Yeah, those upload times, man. You guys remember my old setup? Remember my old setup where I had a 4G... So, where's my phone? My phone's right here. I would literally stick my phone on a window, turn on 4G hotspot, and that was my way of playing games online. So that was also a big reason why I didn't upload a lot of videos back then, and why I'm uploading more videos now, because I got a better internet connection. But back then, man, like, even now it takes a little bit long for these uploads to, like, it's nothing terrible. Like, I got, like, what is it, like 50 megabits, which is really not that great, but I also live in bumfuck country, so not bad. I used to be running on 3 megabits per second on this phone. That's what I was running on, 3 megabits per second. And that's a big reason why I didn't really post a lot on YouTube, but yeah, it's fucking terrible. Those upload times, I would upload a video in the middle of the day, like going to school, because, well, I couldn't even upload a video going to school, because I'd have to take the phone with me, so I couldn't do that. But, okay, so it'd be like nighttime, I put the phone in my window, and I upload a video. Literally, when I wake up in the morning, 8 hours sleep, still uploading. Never mind updating a game or downloading a game, forget it. That's why I went back to console for a while. Even though I had a gaming PC, I'm like, I can't do this. I can't keep downloading all these games. It just takes too fucking long. There was literally one game. What game was it? I think it was, Battlefield or something like that. I don't know the exact game, but it was like a game that was like 80 gigabytes. Literally, 7-day download. 7 days! It's fucking terrible, man. Fucking awful. I have over 20 terabytes of storage so I can handle it. Wow. It's fucking crazy. I wish I had 20 terabytes. Magnum, well, it's not, I have plenty of space on my computer because I delete all the child porn from my files. I'm just saying everything I can to get canceled, to get flagged. No, I do not have child porn on my computer. That was a joke. No, but I delete a whole bunch of shit off my computer that I've had sitting there for years. Like, all these, like, gameplays that I've just been having. And they took, like, 20 gigabytes, like, 30 gigabytes. Like, and I just deleted it all out. And I actually have, like, 300 gigabytes left over. I used to have, like, 80 gigabytes. So, I don't really have much of a storage problem. But it's like, you know, you gotta manage it. I only have a terabyte hard drive, and I have a 120 gigabyte SSD. So, I don't know. Yeah, Bro Man says you should probably be careful about these types of jokes. LMFAO. Well, I don't know if you guys notice. Like, I don't have much of a filter. Like, I don't care. Like, people say don't curse, you'll get demonetized. Don't do this, don't do that. But it's like, this is the fucking Disney Channel. If you don't like it, then go somewhere else. Like, what the fuck? You know? Like, I don't understand this. Like, when I see YouTube videos where they're literally playing a game about killing people, like, with guns, and there's blood splatting all over the place, there's blood and gore and guts all over the place, and then when they say fuck, instead of fuck, it's like, quack! Like, you're literally playing a game where it's all blood and gore, but it can't say fuck! What? YouTube is fucking ridiculous these days. Fucking YouTube, man. Like, I don't want to be part of that. Like, I don't care if, like, me not having a big filter, like, me not filtering myself and censoring myself, like, if that doesn't get me as big as I could. The thing is, like, I don't really have much of a problem with demonetization anyway, but even if I did, like, whatever. I do YouTube to have fun. Like, I do it to have a good time. And when I'm, like, making videos about killing people and censoring myself, make sure I don't curse, like, why? Like, okay, yeah, like, these big YouTubers, they do it for money, obviously. But, like, logically, like, why would anyone that watches a video with gameplay in the background about ripping people's guts apart have a problem with cursing? And bad words. It just doesn't make any sense. Magnum Master says, I don't want to imagine you with a filter. The lack of one is what makes your videos feel genuine. Thank you, Magnum Master. Taxi Vader says, for real, YouTube expect everybody to be PG. And to be fair, it's not YouTube. It's like these advertisers pulling out and like not like YouTube is doing it, yeah. But it's like, yeah, they're a platform that wants to make money. Of course they're gonna do shit like that. Like that makes sense, obviously. But like, I don't know. I think as soon as money got involved in the whole video making process, I feel like that's when the quality of YouTube started to go downhill. Like, remember, like, back in, like, 2006 to 2010? That was the fucking golden age of YouTube. Now, these days, like, it's just, like, there's so much shitty like, even these big YouTubers, like, I don't want to fucking watch this shit. Like, I don't even spend much time watching YouTube. The only time I spend on YouTube is fucking making videos. I don't watch YouTube that much because I just don't find the content over there very enjoyable. Most of the channels I do subscribe to are very small, obscure channels that don't make any money yet. And that's when I feel like the content is at its highest quality, when you don't have that money on the table. Because when you're making all this money, like, you gotta be, like, if YouTube is your job, you gotta be careful, right? And that's the thing about any job. Like, you can't, the shit that I'm saying right now, I could not say that at a job in an office, obviously. Right? So there's a time and place for everything, you know? A YouTube live stream, I can say these things and whatever. But, you know, in the real world, if I said this shit, like, shouting it in the street, obviously that wouldn't fly. So for YouTubers, it's kind of the same thing. Like, that's their job, that's their livelihood. And if all their videos get a yellow check mark, or a yellow dollar sign, the piss yellow dollar sign, I mean, I understand where they're coming from. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, oh, these fucking YouTubers, they're fucking assholes, they can go fuck themselves. Like, I mean, maybe they made terrible life decisions by relying on a website, like a game, like posting video games to make a living for the rest of their life. Maybe that's not a good decision, but I understand where they're coming from. Like, I don't know, if I was in the position where I was making like 6 figures a year making YouTube videos, right? And I had the option between doing that and working some shitty minimum wage Walmart job, what do you think I would choose? You know? So sometimes opportunity comes and you can't turn it down, but I would like to think that even if I got at that point, I would not fucking become a corporate little bitch. Like, I would not censor myself, I would not try to filter myself, because that's what makes me unique, is who I am as a person. And once I censor myself and fucking act like just like everybody else, what would be the reason to tune into my channel versus everybody else, right? It just doesn't make any sense. That live debate with Barry was pretty painful. I remember when he was arguing about the monitor price being factored in and Barry was about to explode. Those were good times. We ended up being really good friends, like I said. I think it was Barry trying to explain how if he was going to factor that in, he would factor in the TV or something. Yeah. I was a fucking idiot. If you haven't seen my podcast with Rags, I had a podcast with him years ago. Definitely some of the best fucking content you'll ever see or listen to, whatever. We fucking went hard on each other. We were fucking ripping each other apart. It was crazy, man. Polish Mercenary, what are you drinking? I'm drinking seltzer. Yeah, my life is not that exciting. I don't have like a cup of vodka. I don't... Spilled it on my keyboard because like I said, I'm fucking retarded. We already established that. Yeah, no, nothing crazy, nothing special. It's seltzer. So me saying crazy shit, you think I'm like fucking drunk, right? Like that's why you asked that question. No, I don't drink. That's just who I am. Sober. Seeing Chad's old videos being reacted by Rags and Barry is something. Dude, I saw that whole podcast. That was hilarious. That's what Dr. Dan said. Yeah, if you haven't seen that Rag podcast, we fucking ripped each other apart, man. Like one of the fucking best memories I ever have on this platform. Dude, that's something I want. I want a conversation with Rags. I want to make that happen one day. And, like, I don't have his content information or anything like that, but I think it would be really interesting because a lot has changed over the past 3 years since we've last encountered each other. Obviously, I'm not a console fanboy anymore. Obviously, I'm not, like, you know, all the problems that Rags had with me, like, he really wouldn't have anymore. I think it would be an interesting conversation for us to just, like, shoot the shit for, like, an hour and like, just, like, have, like, a cool conversation. I think that would actually be really cool, but even if I had his contact information, it'd be like, hey, Rags, it's your old pal, Mr. YouTube Gamer. Want to have a chat? Yeah, he probably wouldn't. He probably wouldn't be so inclined, right? Sadly, Rags seems to have gone kind of silent. I think he mostly does a podcast now. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. I know he got kicked off of Twitter 3 times. From what I understand, he doesn't make YouTube videos anymore. I don't know. He hasn't uploaded his main channel in like 8 months. Wow. Maybe he found something better to do. I don't know. Maybe his real life is just a lot better than his YouTube shit. Like, no problem with that. But I just think it would be really cool. Every Frame of Pause podcast. Never heard of it. Is there anyone else important in there? Or is just like a bunch of no names? Like, have I even heard these other people on the podcast? Because I've heard the Weapon Wheel podcast. I've been a guest on the if anyone's ever heard of it, Hard 8 Times, his podcast, the AGS podcast. I was actually a guest a little over a year ago. That was actually that. I didn't really do so well on that podcast because there was like 8 or 9 people on there, and I barely was able to get a word in. People at the end, they were like saying, "You're so quiet, you're so shy. Like, why didn't you talk?" I'm like, maybe because there were 8 fucking people talking. You know what I mean? Like, in real life, I really can't talk with 9 or 10 people in the same room, like, all talking with each other. Like, I don't know. So, I just didn't want to, like, be rude, I guess, and just interject, you know? Because I was a guest, I want to be respectful. Like, I waited until I was asked a question, and then I'd answer it. So, I guess, you know, I won't be welcome back to that podcast, but it was a good time. EFAP has plenty of people who, like, have a couple 100K subs. So that's cool. What do you do besides YouTube? Do you have, like, a second job? Implying that this is my first job. I'll tell you guys how much I make on YouTube. This month, I made $18.76. And that was my highest payday that I've had in, like, 6 months. YouTube ain't my job. YouTube is not my job. So, no, I have... YouTube, I make some money on the side, and really the only way the way I feel about YouTube is that it's good side money. Like, the way I see it is, like, making YouTube videos, like, stupid fucking videos talking about video games, that's just, like, that's fine. Like, I don't care if I make, like, 20 cents. Like, the fact that I'm making any money at all, I think that's fucking cool. That I'm able to make any money off of YouTube. So I don't really do the whole YouTube thing for money, really. It's just money that I can have on the side. But I do have, right now I have a temporary full-time job that'll last 2 months. After that, I don't know what's going to happen. I keep applying to jobs with the whole COVID shit. It's fucking shitty, but I have a roof over my head. I'm fed. I can't really bitch and complain about my life, really. Like, there's really nothing to bitch about, you know? I know for a lot of people, their life is really tough. But, you know, I'm going through some shit. I'm not gonna, like, say, oh, everything's perfect and it's all sunshine, rainbows. But it's like, you know, I'm not gonna bitch and complain, either. Like, it is what it is. Like, who the fuck wants to tune in and hear me bitch about my problems? Like, you all have your own problems, right? Like, YouTube is not a good place for that. Like, no. Dude, I wish I could get that extra money. I could buy, like, an extra game every month. That's exactly what I do. YouTube is just me being able to buy an extra game every month, or, you know, buy a little cool thing here and there. That's the way I see YouTube. Not like, oh my god, YouTube is my job, it's my livelihood. Like, no, definitely not. Vince Fior says, "Hi Chad, I found your channel on your Console Peasant video and I've been subscribed since." Well, thank you for your support, Vince. I very much appreciate it. Dr. Dan says, "Magnum Master, that was literally my exact thought when he brought up how much he made." Magnum Master says you need 1,000 subs and a certain amount of watch time to monetize. Yeah. So obviously I meet the threshold. I have 3,400 subs, and I monetized my channel when I had 2,000 subs, and that was even way before they had that requirement. Like, you can have, like, 2 subscribers and partner your channel, no problem. But I guess, like, YouTube's afraid, like, I guess, like, a white supremacist can come in, or whatever their reasoning was, like, someone can game the system and get a partnership, people who shouldn't be partnered. Like, you should have a well-established channel. But someone like Magnum Master, like, has what? 500 subs, right? I think someone like that should be able to monetize their channel. Why the fuck not? Like, Magnum Master is cool. You know, even though he's German, doesn't mean he's a fucking Nazi. Like, why not give him a partnership? Give Magnum Master a partnership, YouTube. Magnum Master says, "Now I just gotta save money for a few months. I spent a lot of money recently." And Dr. Dan says, "To be honest, Chad, you should probably try, like, a live stream playing PC games with fans. That would be nice, honestly, playing, like, COD and the like." Yeah, I should definitely do that one day. So, I'm thinking about, hold on, let me just see something for a second. Okay. I'm thinking about doing a stream, like a gameplay stream, very soon. The reason why I haven't done one is because I have to work out the technology. Like, there's a problem. So, I fucking tried to stream. I don't know if you guys remember this. Magnum Master was part of the stream. Maybe a couple of you were also part of it. Where I was streaming, I think I was streaming World at War and Call of Duty 4, and the stream was just lagging like a fucking bitch. Like, it was just every 5 seconds, lag, kept stuttering, kept fucking up. And it's like, I don't know why it's lagging, because this stream is working fine. But if I had my Elgato on right now and I was streaming gameplay, it would lag. And I noticed a thing where my internet connection is perfectly fine right now. But when I have the Elgato app running, it says on my computer that I have no internet. Like, obviously, I have internet because I'm playing on Xbox Live, and I have my Elgato running at the same time. So, obviously, I'm connecting to the internet if I'm playing an online game. But, for some reason, when I have the Elgato running, my desktop, its internet shits out. Like, if anyone's good with technology and understands why that's happening, I would want to know, like, please enlighten me, like, how that... Because I looked it up on Google, or, I guess, Bing. I looked it up on Bing, of, you know, why is this problem happening? Like, why, whenever I have my Elgato on, and when I have the app running on my PC, that my desktop, the internet goes out. Only when I'm running Elgato, nothing else. It's so weird. And even on my my PC, you know, because I don't use Elgato on my PC, I use it for my Xbox. Even with that, like, it's lagging like a bitch. And, you know, I've lowered the bitrate, I've done all this shit, and nothing works. Nothing works. I just don't understand. Madam Master says, I specifically disabled monetization for 10 years, so I think I wouldn't actually mind doing it now. I just wouldn't throw in a bunch of mid-rolls. I hate that stuff. Yeah, YouTube, I think, tries to get mid-rolls in my videos. That, like, if I have a video that's, like, 11 minutes long, YouTube tries to mid-roll it, because I think it's, like, if you have a video longer than 10 minutes, they, like, automatically put mid-rolls in. For a while, you couldn't even opt out of that. Like, you had to manually remove the ads from each video, which is so fucking frustrating. And people were, like, leaving comments like, oh, look at you, you fucking greedy bastard. Like, this live stream I did a year ago, State of Gaming 2019, it had, like, 25 fucking thousand ads. And people were acting like I put all those ads in myself. I did not do that. YouTube did that. So, I don't know. I don't know why it does that. If it still does that, let me know. Like, if you watch my videos lately and you see all these mid-rolls, like, I don't want them there. Like, okay, maybe I'll put a mid-roll in if a video's, like, a half hour long. Because I think, like, a couple of, like, that's reasonable. But for a 10-minute video or 11-minute video, why? Like, you're not watching TV. Like, you're watching fucking YouTube. Like, you don't want to see all these fucking commercials. So, I'll try to fix that. If that's still a problem, let me know. But, let's see. Vince Fior says, what are your thoughts on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X? Do you think it'll come close to PC? No. PlayStation 5 and Series X. I mean, the Series X is going to be a PC, except a more limited PC. But all the games that are on Series X are also going to be on PC. And, you know, people keep saying, oh, why do I even have these headphones on, by the way? I think I could take these off, because I'm not... Yeah, wow. That actually sounds really weird, because I've had these in my fucking ears the whole time. Why did I have the headphones on? I didn't even need them. Like, what am I hearing? I'm only talking. I'm not listening to... Whatever, I'm fucking retarded. We already established that. But with the Xbox Series X, what's the point of getting that over a PC? Because everything you could do on the Xbox Series X, you could do on the PC, but not everything you could do on the PC you can do on the Series X, if that makes any sense. So, like, mods, you know, of course we don't have official information, so maybe you'll have mod support and all that shit, but, like, you might as well just get the game PC, because you can do so much more on a PC than a console that gets to decide, like, what you can and can't do with your experience, right? Like, Microsoft tells you what games you can and can't play. They tell you what you can and can't do with your console. On PC, you don't have that problem. As far as the PlayStation 5 goes, I don't know, because we don't have really any games to work with here. Like, we don't know what the games are actually going to be like, and that's always the most important part about any console. Look at the Wii U. Look at all these other consoles that, you know, really weren't worth shit because they didn't really have any games worth playing. You know what I mean? So, I think this generation is going to also be a big letdown. I don't know if it's going to be as bad as the 8th gen, because the 8th gen, let's be real, the PlayStation 4 is the worst PlayStation that we've ever had. The exclusives are not on par with the PlayStation 1 exclusives, PS2, PS3. PS3 had so many more exclusives. They had better exclusives also. PS4 had like a handful of games, and they were all linear, single-player, third-person action games. And I don't know why, because I don't have the headphones on, the fucking thing is starting to get out of focus, which is so fucking weird. Maybe if I put them back in, it'll start to focus again. Let's see. Let's see if it goes out of focus. It's something with the reflection on the headphones. I don't know. Maybe I'll just put them back on. And maybe that'll solve the problem. I don't know. But, let's see. Dr. Dan says, I don't even have a top PC by any stretch, but my PC blows the current consoles out of the water. Although, to be honest, that isn't hard to do. The new consoles may look impressive spec-wise, but that's the thing, man. That's the thing. People keep saying, oh my god, the PS5 and Series X, they're more powerful than a fucking 2080 Super. First of all, these fucking console gamers are all of a sudden hardware experts. They know everything about teraflops and everything. Dude, just because a console has, like, a GPU has X amount of teraflops doesn't mean that it's a more powerful card than a card. Let's say, like, compare a card that has 16 teraflops to 14 teraflops. Just because you have the 2 more teraflops doesn't mean that's inherently a better card and a more powerful card. That's just not how it works. These fucking console fanboys don't get that. I love how I put the headphones back in. It's not out of focus anymore, so I guess I'll just keep them in. Whatever. I really don't need them. They have no practical use, but what the fuck? Whatever. Master says, my graphics card is 5 years old, and I would take it over the Series X any day. And that's the thing, man. Even if that was true, that the Series X and PS5 are more powerful than a 2080 Super, who the fuck cares? Like, do you really think that most of these games during the first few years of his life cycle are going to push these consoles to their absolute limits? Of course they're not. Like, even the PS3 was never actually pushed to its very limit. It was not. So, if you actually think all that power is going to be used, you're wrong. Also, even if that's true, do you not realize, like, okay, it's going to be more powerful than the 2080 Super. It's more powerful than most cards. Well, eventually you're going to have more powerful cards. Like, PC always adapts. You're always going to have a more powerful technology. The 3000 series is coming soon, RTX. That's going to blow the PlayStation 5 and Series X out of the water easily. So why the fuck are we even talking about specs anyway? Like, does graphics, is that really the most important thing you care about? You didn't give a fuck about that this generation. Especially the Xbox fanboys. You had games running at what? What was it? 900p, 30 frames per second. I think that was the frame rate. Like, that was the average performance on the Xbox One. You couldn't even get games to reach 1080p 30. And all of a sudden, Xbox fanboys are like, oh my god, look at us, we're the most powerful console. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. And then the PlayStation fanboys like, oh my god, PlayStation 4 Pro, then the fucking Xbox One X is way more powerful, right? So these fanboys only care about power when it benefits their stupid fucking fanboy shit. It's just so stupid. I don't understand it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I have the RTX 2060 Super. That's my current card, and I'm happy with it. I'm probably not gonna I don't need to upgrade it for at least 3 or 4 more years minimum. So I'm not worried about the PS5 and Series X. I'm never gonna buy those consoles because I already have a next gen console. I doubt that these consoles are gonna be much more powerful than my current card anyway. I'd be very surprised. Dr. Dan says, thing with PC is that the hardware never stands still. It keeps getting stronger and stronger, and you can always upgrade. Yep, exactly. Consoles hardware always stays the same for years and gets weaker. That's my point exactly. Like, why are these console fanboys arguing about something that's not going to matter in a year anyway when the PC when you have more powerful graphics cards? Like, hello? Fucking retards. I just don't understand what the fuck these fanboys are getting at. It's so frustrating, like, that there are actually people out there that are that fucking dumb. But they're out there. And I could say it because I used to be one of them. Anyone who's been seeing me over the years, you guys know. I was never a source of... for a while, I was not really a good source of wisdom. And, I was a big fanboy. Console King. Who the fuck calls himself the Console King if you're not a fucking fanboy, right? Let's see. Polish Mercenary. Will they stop supporting the Xbox One and PS4 after the new Xbox and PlayStation 5? Actually, I think I made a video about that not too long ago. And I said probably not because, first of all, COVID-19. I know, like, the last thing you want to be is reminded about how fucking shitty the world is. Me talking about fucking coronavirus. But the thing is, like, these consoles, especially if they're going to be launched at $500, the average person ain't going to be able to afford them for at least a year, probably 2 years. So people still going to be playing the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So you'll still be getting games on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One because it's going to take time for people to adopt the new consoles. Even this generation. What was it? 2015-ish? 2016? It wasn't until then that the PS3 and 360 were discontinued. But I think with the current recession, that's worse than any recession we ever had, besides the Great Depression. I think we're gonna be sticking with the old gen for a while, and for PC gamers that might not be good news because even the cheapest fucking card these days blows a PS4 out of the water. So if they're still developing AAA games on those platforms, they might be a lot more limited. Like, they might not be as good of a game as they could have been. Cyberpunk being a good example because they're developing on the PS4 and Xbox One. Probably could have done a lot more if they made it a next-gen exclusive. But whatever. Vince Fior says, even if they allowed console to have higher FPS, you'd still need a TV or monitor with at least 144 Hz. That's a good point. Most people don't have that. PC gamers have monitors with 120 Hz, 144 Hz, whatever. But the average consumer that just has their TV, most TVs don't have that because, I mean, you do have TVs like that, but they're obviously going to cost more. And the average fucking Karen that's shopping at Best Buy trying to buy a TV, they see the cheapest TV, they're going to buy the cheap TV, right? So Lil Jimmy's going to not experience 144 Hz because Mama Karen bought the cheapest TV, you know what I mean? Like, I think the whole 144 Hz thing and the whole frame rate thing is not going to be much of a factor, but the fact that we're hearing that some games will be capped at 30 on next gen, that doesn't even make any sense because I can play all my games at 1440p 60. So something's wrong. That somehow you'll have next gen games that are supposedly more powerful than my GPU that will be capped at 30. Does that make any sense? Am I missing something here? That doesn't make a lot I don't understand that. But Magnum Master says, you don't even need a graphics card to outperform PS4. AMD's 2400G and 3400G can do it with their integrated graphics. Yeah. That's funny. I mean, that's true. And yeah. Karen, you're so funny. Imagine a game in 2020 being capped at 30 FPS. I can't. I thought we were past this at this point. That was the big thing this generation. Not even the whole, like, 900p, games not hitting 1080p. Like, I think the big thing was frame rate. Like, frame rate is a fucking problem. Like, I can't play an FPS at 30 FPS. I can't play most of these games. Like, I can never go back to 30 FPS. Even these PS4 exclusives, like Spider-Man, it would be a lot better to play if it was running at 60 than it runs at 30. With heavy motion blur and all that shit. Like, no. It's not good. And so, imagine if the new Spider-Man on PS5 is at 30. It's gonna be fucking embarrassing. Like, maybe the consoles will give you more freedom and more customization. Like, okay, if you want high resolution, we'll give you lower frames, but if you want to have the highest frames possible, we'll allow you to play at a lower resolution. Like, you can play at 1080p, 90 frames, no problem, but if you want to play like a 4K, you'll be capped at like 60 or maybe even 30. But I don't see. I don't think they'll even do that. I think Sony wants like a consistent resolution and frame rate for everybody. That's how I see it. That's what I think is probably going to happen. I don't know. I mean, I make all these predictions, but I'm not a fucking genie. Like, I don't have a fucking crystal ball, whatever the fuck. I'm just some fucking random guy. You know? My word is not gospel. Master says, Master says, I thought we were past 30 FPS when 60 was standard during 6th gen. Then developers decide gameplay doesn't matter. It's all about them graphics. Yeah. Every game these days is trying to be like a fucking movie, right? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Polish Mercenary, do you have Xbox One? And hi. Hi, Polish Mercenary. Yes, I do have an Xbox One. I don't know why. Most of the games I play on the Xbox One are Xbox 360 backwards compatible games. But, yes, I have an Xbox One. Oh, man. I'm feeling, like, a little, like, stuffy. I don't know why. Like, when I started the stream, I didn't feel this way. But, like, I'm like, fuck, man. Ugh. Vince Viewer says, the only thing I wish is that console exclusives weren't a thing, because there's so many good ones that I kind of have to always have on a console. Yeah, I don't know. Like, as someone who doesn't plan on buying the new consoles, like, I understand where you're coming from. I think we need to have exclusives. You know, that's something that that people don't really appreciate me saying. But I still think you need to have exclusives, because if you don't have exclusives, like, what's even the point of having these consoles? I know that kind of sounds counterintuitive, because if I'm the person that's speaking out against how awful these consoles are, don't you want consoles to die, right? But I just think if we were in this scenario where we had no more exclusives, right? Let's say Sony released all their games on PC, Xbox, Nintendo, and Nintendo did the same for their games. You had Super Mario on PC, PlayStation, you know, and all the console manufacturers shared all their games on all platforms. If that was the business model, do you really think there would be a purpose in having 3 consoles? Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft would not all coexist if there was no such thing as exclusives. So what that means is that you'd have less competition in the marketplace, and I just don't think it would work. You'd pretty much have a monopoly, which we're already working towards that, by the way. You have the Xbox Series X, which, I mean, let's face it, like, you don't really have a reason to buy one over the PlayStation 5. You didn't have a reason to buy an Xbox One over a PS4. Why would you buy an Xbox Series X over a PS5? And this isn't me being a fanboy, by the way. I don't plan on buying any of them. I'm a PC gamer. But for the console gamer, most of them are by far, like, they're going to pick the PS5, and Sony's going to dominate this generation. At this point, there's no doubt in my mind about that. So, you know, even though Microsoft's not putting their games on PlayStation, their whole, like, putting it on PC, it's definitely hurting their console market, and it's putting them in a worse position to compete with Sony in the console space. Because you have PC gamers or you have people that have 2 options to play Xbox games. Xbox or PC, but on PlayStation, you can only play it on PlayStation or stream it on PlayStation Now, right? I think that Microsoft, even though what they're doing is good for their PC business, it's at the expense of their console business, because it defeats the purpose of buying an Xbox. And let's face it, the only reason of having a Nintendo console is for the first-party exclusives. Okay, yeah, you have the whole hybrid thing, but it's the games, guys. It's the fucking games. That's the main reason why people buy consoles. Why people buy one console over the other. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Dr. Dan says, I really don't give a shit about graphics. They are nice, but the gameplay and performance matters much more than how a game looks. Thankfully for me, none of the console exclusives interest me, so I don't have to worry about them being locked. Although I will say this, them being exclusive is a huge factor that makes me not want to even bother trying them, especially if you gotta drop like $400 just for the system so you can play the damn game. Like, sure, I may want to try Uncharted, but I refuse to play on such weak hardware just to do it. It's not worth it. So, I understand where you're coming from. Like, so Horizon Zero Dawn's coming out next month, and I'm probably gonna check it out. Like, I'm not gonna buy it like when it comes out. Like, I think they're charging like $50 for it or some shit, or $40. I'll wait for it to go on sale. Like, I never played it before, even though I have a PS4. I never touched it, cause I just don't care enough. Like, these third person linear action games, like, that's every PlayStation exclusive. Just in that quick summary. So you play one PlayStation exclusive, it's kind of like you play all of them. And to be honest, like, I don't even think the quality of the PS4 exclusives, like, I don't think Uncharted 4 is even on the same fucking level as Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3. And the new God of War, I think you could say that that's better than the PS3 God of Wars, because I think God of War 3 on PS3 was fucking boring. God of War on PS4 is a little bit more interesting. It's definitely a lot easier to play through. But it's also more of a reboot, and the gameplay is way different. Like, it's not like the hack and slash that you had in the old God of Wars. I'm trying to think of, like, one game, like a game on PS4 that's better than the PS3 exclusives. I think the PS3 just had so much more. You had more exclusives and you had better exclusives. Like, I'd take Little Big Planet, Mod Nation Racers, even fucking Killzone 2, and the infamous 1 and 2. I'm about to fucking blow load in my pants just thinking about those games. Oh my god. PS3 had amazing games. PS4 was very underwhelming in my opinion. That's because Sony didn't have a reason to pump out all these games because they're already on top, right? Well, the thing about the PS3 is that Sony had a big problem with trying to compete with Microsoft because people just didn't give a fuck about the PS3 because it didn't have any fucking games. From 2006 to 2008, PS3 was best summarized in two games. MotorStorm and Resistance. That's pretty much all you had the first 2 years. Like, PS3 was fucking shit during the first couple of years. Once you had all these exclusives, though, that changed. And that's the reason why the PlayStation 3 ended up doing as well as it did, and actually ended up tying the Xbox 360 because they had the fucking games. But with the PS4, Sony's just sitting on a pile of cash because Microsoft ain't competing with them. I mean, their games, you know, forget the whole argument about them putting their games on PC. Their games, Xbox games just fucking suck. Let's be real. State of Decay, Halo 4, Halo 5, whatever the fuck. Those games are fucking terrible. Or at least they're just average at best. And definitely not system sellers by any stretch of the imagination. You know? I think the big thing that the PS4 just had was that the games were definitely better. And that was definitely a big reason why people buy the PS4. But it's just, people trusted PlayStation more than Xbox. Especially after all the DRM controversy, E3. I think that definitely was a big thing that hurt Microsoft's reputation. And because they never had the games to back it up, they were never able to make up their losses. And I guess Microsoft didn't lose money on the Xbox One, but it definitely wasn't the roaring success that the 360 was. Definitely not. Let's see. Magnum Master says the Ratchet & Clank games made the PS3 worth it. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Crack in Time, one of the best platformers ever played in my life. Ratchet & Clank on PS4 fucking sucks. Like, that, I don't know what the fuck that game was. Of course, Polish Mercenary can add me. It's Mr. NoobTube Gamer. That's my gamer tag. Actually, if you click on my channel, I actually have a Call of Duty channel that's dedicated to Call of Duty. That's my gamer tag, Mr. NoobTube Gamer. So, I mostly play COD. So if you don't play COD, we might not be able to play too many games together, but whatever. Let's see. Dr. Daniel says, to be honest, I did look at the PS3 exclusives, and only like Metal Gear Solid 4 even remotely interests me. PS3 has a shallow exclusive library to me personally, although I guess maybe they just aren't for me. Oh my god, Dr. Dan, that breaks my heart to hear you say that. How can you shit on Little Big Planet, Mod Nation Racers, fucking... I mean, Resistance is kind of mediocre. I'll give you that. But Killzone 2 and Killzone 3, I think those games are slept on. Killzone Shadowfall is a glorified tech demo. That game fucking blows a giant cock. But PS3 had fucking Infamous 1 and 2. Infamous 1 and 2 are fucking awesome. Fucking amazing games, man. People were fucking sleeping. Mag, man. No one remembers Mag. 256 player online multiplayer made by Zipper Interactive. Oh my god. That was my shit back in the 6th grade. My mind was fucking blown. 256 players in the same fucking match. Fucking amazing. I love that game. And then the SOCOM for... Yeah, there were definitely a lot of stinkers. I'm not going to say, oh my god, the PlayStation 3 was perfect. But I take the PS3 over the PS4 any day. And that notification was actually, I think, Polish Mercenary adding me on Xbox. So I'll add him back right now. I think I just added you. Okay, cool. I should mute my desktop audio because there's no reason for you to hear my desktop. Okay. Okay, so Infamous on, what was it? Infamous Second Son on PS4. That's a good game. Okay, I'll admit that's a good game, but I just don't think it holds up as well as the originals on PS3. That's just my humble opinion. Ratchet and Clank definitely sucks cock on PS4. I mean, that game is terrible. Let's see. As someone who had an Xbox One in 2014, it was a mess. It had no games. Meaning to add you on Steam. Yeah, my Steam is also the same thing, Mr. Noob2 Gamer. You should have no problem finding me on there. Yeah. Oh, Magnum Master, you also added me on Xbox? I didn't even know. Oh, because you can make a Microsoft account on PC. Okay, sure. Why not be friends on there? Magnum Master says, I got Little Big Planet some time ago. Looking forward to playing it. Oh, that's another good example. Little Big Planet 3. Terrible. Awful. But to be fair, though, Dreams, hear that shit is really good. I never got my hands on it yet, but the shit that people are able to create on that, like, that makes Little Big Planet look like fucking shit. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I guess that's kind of an unpopular opinion to say the PS4 sucks. But it does. Like, it's better than... Granted, it's better than the Xbox One, but the standards are so fucking low. And I had my screen to add Dr. Dan. That's why my screen went out, because I clicked on Steam and it's dark. And my whole room is dark, though. People think I'm like, don't I look like a fucking serial killer right now, just like sitting around with a fucking black ass screen? But I think it looks cool. I like this look. You guys definitely don't want to see my gay ass flower wallpaper that I didn't have anything to do with. Like, my fucking grandmother fucking made it back in the day when my grandparents lived here. The house that I live in was built in 1860. Dude, there's a cemetery across the street from where I live. There are people who fucking died in the Revolutionary War that are buried right across the fucking street where I live. It's fucking cool. It's fucking awesome. But, yeah, I don't know. I kind of like this dark background. It's kind of cool. Like, I think it's aesthetically pleasing, at least to me. Dr. Dan says, the PS3 I have is mainly used by my dad for a Blu-ray player, but we do have a few games for it. I mainly haven't bought things for it because it's not exactly my own per se. My Steam is Mr. MR Noobtube, NOOBTUBE, Gamer, GAMER. That's my gamer tag. I made that account when I was like 15, and you know, Noobtube is Call of Duty, and that's why that's my gamer tag, because I like noob-tubing in Call of Duty. I know it's kind of stupid, but I like it. I like that gamer tag. It's Mr. without the period. Yeah. The only Xbox One exclusive left is Rare Replay. Yeah, why not just put Rare Replay? Why not just put that on PC? Yo, Viva Pinata. Let me tell you guys something about fucking Viva Pinata. That's one of the greatest Xbox exclusives of all time. Not gonna lie, like, one day I played Viva Pinata 16 hours straight. No breaks. From 11 a.m. to 7 a.m. the next day. And I was fucking hooked. That game is fucking awesome. I have a unique situation. I moved into an apartment after living in a house my whole life, and it has roaches, and they got into my laptop and PS4. How do I keep them out? I have no fucking idea, man. Like, I'm the wrong person to ask. I haven't cleaned out my PS4 ever. That's why it sounds like a jet engine, but I just don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not gonna go out and try to, like, clean it. Whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, I know I'm not very, that doesn't sound very sanitary, but whatever. I've never had a problem with roaches, so I don't know how to keep them out. I guess, buy those, like, roach traps. Like, keep the roaches out of your apartment. I mean, that's the big thing. Like, forget your fucking console. Like, who the fuck wants fucking roaches hanging around? Get, like, those fucking... Did you ever try getting, like, those roach traps? Or just any roach you see, get that fucking Raid spray. That shit works really well. I had flying roach... Actually have had roaches in this house before. Flying roaches. Fucking roaches with wings. And they didn't actually get in the house, though. They were, like, trying to get in through the window, and I just sprayed the fuck out of them, and they died. But, yeah, roaches are fucking terrible. I'll tell you that. Thank you for tuning in, Vince. See you later, man. Thank you. Appreciate your support. They're in your neighbor's apartment. Well, tell your neighbor to fucking kill his roaches, then. I don't know, man. That's tough. Fucking sucks, man. Like, that's what I hate. When I used to live in the city, I didn't live in an apartment, but I lived in a house. But it was like one of those houses where it's like it's a big house, but it's like split in half. Like, so one, you know, it's pretty much two houses in one. Like, they're attached to each other, but they're technically separate homes, separate houses, right? So the neighbor, though, if they have fucking rats and mice, they come into my house because it's the same building, and it's fucking... Yeah, I kind of know what you feel like, actually, but I've never had roaches on my console before. That fucking... Ugh. Gives me the chills. I use boric acid, and they're still here. I'm moving to my new apartment soon. Definitely move into a new apartment, because that fucking sucks, man. Dr. Dan says, the last console I used was my N64 a few weeks ago when I finished my playthrough of Resident Evil 2. It was quite fun, but Halo 5 is still exclusive. LMAO, Halo 5 was trash. Wait, isn't... Halo 5 is not part of the Master Chief Collection, right? I just realized that. Like, on PC, they're even fucking porting Halo 4 to PC. But Halo 5 is so shit, they're not gonna even bother with it. What does that tell you? Like, Halo Infinite's gonna come to PC before Halo 5, and Halo 5 might not ever come. You think anyone's gonna demand Halo 5 on PC? I don't think so. So, I guess it's not a big loss, but it's like very strange. Very strange, definitely. Damn, we've been going over for an hour and 38 minutes. I'm thinking about maybe wrapping this up in the next 20 minutes or so, have it in even 2 hours. Like, I'm probably not going to bed anytime soon, so I really don't have anything to do right now. I don't have to get up in the morning, so I can go as long as I want, but I don't know. If you guys, like, want anything else for me to talk about, definitely, like, if you have any questions just about what my thoughts are on something, or just about me, I'm willing to answer any question you want. And the difference is, if you want to ask me a question, you don't have to pay me money for me to even acknowledge you, because that's what most of these fucking YouTubers do, where they don't look at a question unless there's a $sign next to it. Like, that's fucked up. Now, a lot of YouTubers do that. Even the YouTubers that don't need to do that. Like, you have these YouTubers that aren't even much bigger than me that do that shit, where like, oh, I'm only gonna read your shit if you have super chat. Like, if you send a super chat. Like, fucking stupid. Like, I have that shit on, but I'm not like saying, oh, you must donate. Like, I don't think I've ever asked anyone to donate to me ever, because it's like, you want to do it, you want to do it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, please give me money, I need your money. I'll only acknowledge you if you give me money, guys. Getting any of the 3000 series GPUs, probably not, because I'm happy with mine. I'm not like a huge collector of GPUs, you know what I mean? Like I'm not like Bullet Barry who has like fucking 10 cards. Like, fuck does he need that for? I don't know. I'm only gonna get a new card when my old one gets outdated, and for a while that's not gonna be the case, because I got 2060 Super, which still definitely holds up very well. It better, because I got it in like December and paid $450 for it, so it better hold up. Let's see. Madden Master says, I kind of want to try 5. I don't trust what Halo fans say about the games. Halo 1 is a terrible game. Well, I mean, to be fair, like, a lot of people are hating on Quake Champions, and you fucking love that game, right? So, you know, just because people don't like something doesn't mean that you feel the same way. So, I guess they should bring Halo 5 just to have a complete Halo collection, you know? Why not? If you're going to bring Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, and Reach, why not also include 5? You're definitely right. Now you sound like Darkside Phil when you say, I only will acknowledge you if you give me money. Yeah. Only if you give me money. Bye, Polish Mercenary. I'll read your message, but I'm streaming right now, so I don't want to, like, you know, just ignore people and read messages. But I'll read your message when I get around to it. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for support. The state of consoles. What do you think about the next generation, Mr. Mario Video 13? Well, I think it's very interesting. And I'll get to your question, James, but let me get to Mario first. I don't agree with the common consensus that a lot of YouTubers are saying that we're getting close to the end of consoles with streaming services like Google Stadia, which that's very ironic because Stadia is a fucking train wreck. Even like xCloud and all these other, like, streaming, I don't think streaming is going to overtake consoles anytime soon, if ever. And I know that kind of sounds like me being ignorant, like, oh, you know, you don't recognize, like, the new technology and it's going to overtake, like, I sound like one of those guys, like, 10 years ago that says DVDs will always be better than Netflix, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of sound like one of those people, like, one of those fucking old fucking people that was like, streaming services are terrible and, you know, we should all just keep buying DVDs. But I think the video game industry is different because with streaming services, the thing is that you don't have, like, okay, so with Netflix, with services like that, even Spotify, like streaming music, streaming movies, TV shows, there's not as much importance in having that ownership in that product, right? So if you decide to watch a movie, like, for example, I watched The Sopranos. I finished that series. One of the best shows ever seen, by the way. Definitely check it out if you haven't watched it. It's definitely some of the best television you'll ever see. It's on HBO or HBO Max, which I'm very disappointed by it, but I think I'm going to keep subscribing to it because it has, like, a few shows that I actually really enjoy. I recently got into Boardwalk Empire, which is actually another good show, but I keep going on a fucking tangent. I'm sorry. Point is, there's a whole point to what I'm trying to talk about with these streaming services. I finished The Sopranos. I don't care if I own that TV show because once I go through it once, like, that's all I really care about. But with a video game, I feel like there's a lot more importance in having that ownership with your game that I feel like gamers are going to reject the prospect of having a streaming service where you put all these hours, you dedicate so much of your time into a game like, I don't know, let's say Grand Theft Auto, let's say whatever fucking game you can think of. Fortnite. The entire prospect, okay, so Fortnite maybe not be the best example because it's a free game, but, like, just think of any game that you spent, like, hundreds of hours on that would only be available on a streaming service, and when that streaming service dies, you lose access to that game forever. I think the big problem with Stadia is that they don't even have the subscription. They're like, oh, yeah, you stream your games, but you also have to pay $60 for fucking terrible latency. Like, try play PUBG and Destiny 2 on Stadia. It's fucking unplayable. So first of all, technology is not even fully developed yet. And despite what people are hyping up about xCloud, I think that platform is going to have a lot of technical problems as well. I just don't think the streaming technology is as developed as it needs to be. That's one thing. Second of all, I don't think the streaming model works with the video game industry. Even though, yeah, you have $60, now $70 games, and games are expensive, getting new games is expensive. I just don't think the prospect of a streaming platform really resonates with gamers as much as it does with people who listen to music, who watch TV shows, watch movies. So I don't think that streaming is going to take off. I think consoles are going to be here to stay for a while. I don't think that we're seeing the last console generation. I think there will be a 10th console generation. Actually made a video predicting the 10th gen consoles. I made a video predicting the PlayStation 6 and the Switch 2 and all that shit. So if you want to check out that video just for shits and giggles, check that out. But you know, that's not going to be a thing until like what, 2027, maybe even 2028, considering how awful the economy is. But yeah, there will be a 10th gen. I will even go as far as to say there will be an 11th generation and a 12th generation. I don't think consoles. I can't envision a scenario where consoles will die, because I mean, this generation, say what you want about the quality of the games, about the quality of the consoles, and you know how powerful they were, Nintendo Switch is probably going to end up selling 100 million units by the end of its life cycle. PS4 is already the third best-selling console of all time. Xbox One only sold 40 million units, but just look at how many people are buying consoles still in the year 2020. I don't see that trend dying anytime soon. So, you know, despite what I might say about the PlayStation 5 and Series X, those are my own opinions. That's not me. Like, I can imagine the PlayStation 5 selling at least 100 million units. I think it will. Will it outsell the PlayStation 4? Possibly. It's very possible. So I don't think consoles are really even on the decline. I think PC is definitely gaining a stronger foothold in the video game industry, but I don't think we're at that point where consoles are going to become irrelevant. Even if some people watching this video or watching the stream might want that to happen, I don't think it will. But just to go back to James, because he asked a question a while ago, let me scroll up and find his comment. I think I asked you the same question on your State of Gaming in 2018, or maybe it was a year ago. Has your opinion on GameStop dying changed over the past year, especially since COVID? That's a good question, because I'm very conflicted. Okay, so I haven't walked into a GameStop in over 2 years. And part of it's for a really petty reason, because I walked into GameStop one day, and I'm trying to buy, like, I'm looking for a game, right? And I'm fucking, right now I'm 22 fucking years old, right? I was 20 years old 2 years ago when I last walked into the GameStop. And this woman, who was only like 3 years older than me, was like, "Hey, little buddy, are you looking for a game?" Like, acting like I'm fucking 12. And that's why I think that's why I'm bad with women, because I look way too young for my age. Like, that'll be good when I'm 40. You know, I'll look a lot younger, but right now it's fucking killing me. Like, do I look like a 22-year-old man? Anyone watching this video, do you think I look like I'm fucking 22? But I am. Fucking 22. So that's the reason why I don't go to GameStop anymore, because the woman personally insulted me. No. I don't go to GameStop because I just don't see a point, because, I mean, yeah, back then I, like, had physical copies because of my personal internet situation where I had to use a hotspot, but it was like, you know, I get frustrated. All I want to do is buy a fucking game, right? I want to walk in the store, buy your fucking game, and that's it. But when I go to fucking GameStop, they're like, "You want to fucking buy Hello Kitty? You want to fucking pre-order the new fucking Hello Kitty game?" Like, what the fuck do I look like? I want to fucking pre-order Hello Kitty? Fuck no. What the fuck are you asking me this shit? I don't fucking pre-order this shit. Like, they keep asking me to pre-order this game, pre-order that game, become a GameStop rewards member. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't want to be heckled at a store, being asked all these things. Like, I don't feel comfortable at your fucking store. So if I do buy a physical game, guess what? I get on my phone, go on the fucking Amazon app, fucking order that shit, and it comes in. But I don't really order, because I have a good internet connection, I don't really order too many physical copies these days. But as far as GameStop going out of business, I'm not going to go as far as to say I hope they go out of business, because, yeah, they treat their customers like shit. They treat their employees like shit. But at the end of the day, that's a company that hires a few thousand people. And if they go out of business, like, that's going to hurt a lot of people. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm ever going to wish for, like, even if I hate a company, like, if I fucking hate a company so much and I hate everything about them, to wish them to go out of business, like, I think that's a little extreme. Because I think I was kind of suggesting that, like, I don't even remember what I said a year ago, to be honest with you. Because James is asking, he asked, like, has my opinion changed? I don't even remember what my opinion was a year ago about GameStop. I mean, I think my opinion was that it fucking sucks. I know that much, but I don't know if I went as far as to say that it should go out of business, and if I did, that was very immature of me. Because that's a lot of people's jobs and livelihoods at stake. Even though they're shitty jobs, well, how many of you watching this video have a shitty job? Like, we all have shitty jobs in our fucking lives. Like, it's still a job that pays. You know what I mean? Let's see. Dr. Daniel says, maybe you'll be like someone like Pierce Brosnan, where you look young for years and even into your 60s. Let's hope. And James says, my local GameStop once actually put an original Xbox Halo 2 disc in my Halo 3 for 360 case and sold me a faulty used 360. Yo. GameStop, they're fucking mafia, man. They're fucking criminals. Like, let's be real. Like, they fucking rob you and they fucking antagonize you. Fuck GameStop, but like, I don't know. I'll feel a little bad if they go out of business. I'm so fucking stuffy, man. I feel a little. I think I got the coronavirus, guys. I got fucking COVID-19. Dr. Daniel says, I'm glad that I've never had any issues like this with GameStop employees. Yeah. I mean, I haven't even had the worst issues with them. Like, the thing I went through was, like, not really a big deal. It's just kind of funny. But that's just part of, like, my daily life is, like, if I go somewhere, like, I don't look my age. Like, if I walk into a bar, I've walked into a couple of bars a few times, and I'm not much of a drinker, but when I do go to a bar, like, with a couple of friends, which hasn't been a thing for a while because, COVID, and I don't really have that many friends these days because they all left college and everything. But when I go to a bar, like, I feel really uncomfortable. Like, people are probably thinking, like, I'm definitely underage and I definitely have a fake ID. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel so out of place in these I have the fucking baby face. It fucking kills me, man. Like, when I was 13, I looked like I was fucking 9, fucking 8 years old. When I was in high school, I looked like I was 10. Like, ugh. Definitely ruined my chances with women, definitely. It's just me looking too young. Like, have that young face. Like, because if a woman sees me, they don't even think, like, we're the same age. They think I'm in fucking high school. And, like, if they go up to me, they think they're a fucking pedophile. You know what I mean? I don't even think I could pass for 18. Which is fucking sad, but it is what it is. I can't control how I look. I mean, I can try to grow some facial hair, but I don't really look good with a beard. I tried. I really don't look good with facial hair. Like, what can I do to make myself look older? Maybe put, like, on, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I dress. Maybe this shirt. I don't know. I don't know what I should do to make myself just look like 5 years older. That's what I need. Stop converting my shit into emojis, YouTube. That shit is cringe. I remember your videos when you were 17 reacting to rags, and yeah, you definitely look very, very young. Yeah. I definitely don't look like I'm 22. That's for fucking sure. Magna Master says, luckily with the tight pro-consumer laws here in Germany, that shit doesn't fly. They would never dare try. He's talking about James's story with Halo 2 and the Halo 3. Yeah, that was some fucking mafia shit over there. You should put an old man mask to make yourself look older. LOL. Yeah, I should try. They have, like, the fucking makeup you can put on to give, like, yourself wrinkles and shit. I should, like, be like, hey, guys, it's fucking Grandpa Chad. I don't know. No, that sounds like fucking cringe. Like, what the fuck did I just say? Taxi Vader. I wonder how many people will be waiting in the Walmart parking lot waiting to jack people for their PS5s. Yo. Do you guys remember people getting shot and killed over PlayStation 3s back in 06? That was some fucking crazy shit, man. People were killing each other over PlayStation 3s over fucking... Like, in 2006, the PlayStation 3 was fucking terrible. But let's face it, people were stealing PS3s because it cost $600, so they'd steal the box, right? And would resell in the black market, I guess. But dude, people getting fucking killed over PS3s back then. I don't know if people got killed over PS4s. I know there was a story. What I remember is someone, like, used a I forget how it worked, but they were, like, at Walmart or whatever store where when you pay for something, it's, like, self-checkout. But they took the PS4 and put it into, like, you know, like when you buy like fruit and whatever, you put into a basket and you weigh it. Like they weighed it as if it was fruit, so they were charged. They paid for their PlayStation 4, but they paid like $10 for it because they just bought. They pretend it was like a bunch of apples or whatever. It's fucking funny. Like the way people fucking scam is like fucking hilarious in my opinion. But hey, guy eventually got caught, but yeah, I'm sure that store won't make that same mistake again. I had to wait. Dr. Dan says I had to wait a day because it was a Sunday and they closed at 6 at the time. This was back in 2010 or 2011. They were still selling PS2 and GameCube games at GameStop. Yo, why don't they still sell that shit? Like, honestly, like I think if GameStop really wants to stay alive, they should take advantage of the fucking retro community because those are really the people that are still out there collecting physical games. Start selling SNES games. Start selling fucking PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 games. Why the fuck do I sound like that? I have like a fucking frog in my throat or whatever. A fucking cock in my throat. But yeah, like that. I think that's something they should do. That's definitely something they should do. I missed the top part above that. GameStop were also the same people who once sold me a GameCube with no fucking power cable. I'm sorry, I missed that. I'm fucking spacing out. That's fucking funny. Dr. Dan, holy shit. Like, all these people keep telling me these stories. Like, I didn't even have... The worst thing that happened to me at GameStop is a fucking woman my age that fucking... fucking lowered my self-esteem so much because she's like, hey, little buddy, you looking for a game? Like, I'm fucking 12. Like, that just... stabbed me in the heart. That was my worst GameStop experience. I never got some fucking shit where, like, someone's, like, stealing or, like, I have a fucking console. Like, well, first of all, I never bought a refurbished PS3 or PS4 or whatever. Like, don't buy a refurbished GameStop console because, yeah, that shit, don't trust that shit. Even buying used games, I never got, like, scratched games or, like, the wrong game. I had nothing like that happen to me, really. But I guess it can happen. It's just never happened to me. Big reason why I stopped going to GameStop really is because I trade in all these games and I get fucking shit money for it. I might as well just sell on fucking eBay or whatever, you know? It's just a waste. And they only pay you in store credit. I mean, they'll pay you in cash, but you get less money in cash. And even the store credit's fucking awful. Why the fuck would I bother with that? Dr. Dan says $30 of my hard-earned money as a 9-year-old kid. It's fucking sad, man. Feels bad, man. Thankfully, they ended up letting me take it back for a new one with a power cable. We mainly got it because I kept using the Wii in the living room to play GameCube games, and my parents wanted to use the TV, so we got the GameCube to put in my room for it instead. Why didn't you just use the Wii, though? Did your parents, like, use the Wii? I don't know. Like, why would you have to buy a GameCube? Like, did your parents also, like, did they play, like, fucking Wii Fit at 8 o'clock at night? Like, sorry, fucking little Danny, you gotta fucking go. We gotta play fucking Wii Fit. Sorry. Like, Metroid Prime can wait. We gotta fucking do our Wii Fit. I had, my parents, like, I tried to get them into the Wii, but they didn't even give a fuck about that. Magnum Master says, I saw someone who got a refurbished Wii and the eject disc button was broken out of the box, man. Yeah, don't get refurbished consoles, man. Like, those are the stories I keep hearing about. I keep hearing, like, people buying refurbished consoles. That's the main problem people have with GameStop. Well, don't fucking buy refurbished consoles. I think that's the best way to not have problems with GameStop anymore. Like, I guess you're better off if you want to buy a used console going on Amazon or even eBay. I mean, I went on eBay plenty of times. I got a Dreamcast, I got Sega Game Gear, and they still work perfectly today. So, it depends on the seller. Like, if the seller has, like, a 99% whatever, fucking satisfaction, like, you'll have no problems. Definitely not. So that if you want to buy an old retro console, that's your option, or you could just fucking download an emulator and don't even have to worry about that, right? Dr. Dan says, because the Wii was a family system, so I wasn't allowed to have my room. But was it a family system that your family even used? Like, because my family, like, they had the Wii, but it was for me, so I just had in my room. Like, I don't know. My parents never used the Wii. By the way, can we just get out of the way? The Wii fucking sucks. The Wii is one of the most overrated consoles of all time. I actually have a list. I'm actually going to make a video soon about the most overrated consoles of all time, and the Wii is on the list because it's pretty much did the Wii have to be its own console? Could they have just added, like, a motion control add-on to the GameCube and let all the games be playable on the GameCube? Did they have to release a new console? The Wii is a recycled GameCube. Remember Sarcastic Gamer back in the day? That was like one of the big gaming places back in 2007. I remember they made like a song about the Wii. They pretty much said, the Wii is a cheap PS2 dressed up like a Mac, and I thought that was like the most hilarious thing when I was 9 years old. But it's so fucking true. The Wii, not that great. Most of the games were shovelware products that were just trying to take advantage of the shitty motion controls, and the motion controls were shit. Like, the motion controls fucking sucked. When I was like 10, when I got it for my 10th birthday, I loved it, but it got old, even for someone my age. Like, it only lasted me like 6 months, and I'm like, I'm fucking bored. I want a fucking PS3. That was around 2009, when the PS3 was actually good. Actually started to get good. But the sad story I have about my PS3, now that we're talking about old consoles, I got my PS3 on May 2nd. No, it was May 1st, 2009. And I remember the date exactly because my birthday, my 11th birthday, was on May 3rd. And I was supposed to get the PS3 on my birthday. And I've told the story before. You know, it's kind of a bit of a sad story, so sorry if I'm repeating it. But what happened was my grandma got sick. It was May 1st, and she wasn't dead, but like her organs were shutting down and she was sick, and they canceled my birthday party for May 2nd because they're like, she's gonna die soon, and like, you don't want her to die on your birthday party. Like, it's gonna ruin your whole fucking day because, like, you know, I'm at my party and the fucking phone rings like grandma's dead. So my mom knew it was gonna happen. She canceled the birthday party. It was my 11th birthday party at like a big disco place, and it got canceled because, yeah, it turned out on May 2nd my grandma passed away. So, kind of like as a consolation prize, like, not for my grandma being dead, but for the birthday party being canceled. We didn't know she was dead yet. My mom's like, you can have your PS3 2 days early. It was Friday, May 1st, 2009. And so I was playing Iron Man on the PS3. Of all the fucking games, I choose Iron Man on the PS3. The two games I wanted, Iron Man and The Incredible Hulk, because I was a fucking Marvel fanboy. So those are my two games. So, May 2nd, Grandma passes away. I remember I was playing Iron Man on my PS3. I fucking thought it was the most amazing thing in the world, being able to play as Iron Man. Like, I was fucking amazed. I'm like, oh my god, these graphics are so much better than the Wii. It's amazing. The PS3 is the best thing ever. My mom calls me and is like, Grandma's gone. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, because I never really dealt with death before, so I just fucking fell on the floor fucking crying in fucking tears, and I just didn't know how to process that, because I fucking love my grandma, man. Like, that's just, her loss was like 11 years ago. Still affects me to this day. But yeah, like that, like the PS3, that was like a consolation prize for fucking my dead grandma, basically. I mean, no, I was gonna get the PS3 anyway, but I got it 2 days sooner, and it was while I was playing my PS3 that I found out grandma died. That's not even the sad story, though. I mean, that's fucking sad. That's definitely sadder than what I was actually getting at. But, so it's Christmas Day 2009. I think the PS3 is just fucking cursed. I never had a problem since, but Christmas Day 2009, December 25th. I get all these PlayStation games for Christmas. I get Ratchet and Clank Crack in Time, sorry. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying anymore. I get a crack in time. I get all these PS3 games because I got the PS3 and I want to play all these fucking games. You know, that was part of my routine. Every Christmas, my mom would give me like 5 or 6 games a year. And I remember on Christmas Eve, I can open one game on Christmas Eve. And that one game was Modern Warfare 2. So I was fucking enjoying the shit out of that. That was my first Call of Duty game, my first M-rated game. So I fucking love that. I was having so much fun. But on Christmas Day, my PS3 died. On Christmas motherfucking Day. So I was fucking crying. Like, I got the PS3. This is a fat PS3, by the way. This was before the Slim. So the fat model kind of sucked. I guess that's what it was. It was the 80 gigabyte model. And it didn't even have the backwards compatibility. So it just fucking sucked. Just a bad model. Just bad console. And it lasted 6 months. And it died on Christmas fucking Day out of all the days. So December 26th, my parents got me a new PS3 Slim. And that system's been working for the past 10 years, no problem, but man, I had a lot of bad experiences with the PS3 at first. Like, I was convinced it was fucking cursed or something, but my PS3 Slim still works great to this day. I think the PS3 is one of the greatest consoles of all time, after everything. It didn't get the yellow light of death, it just stopped working. No yellow light, it just dead. Like, it just, games wouldn't play. Like, you could boot it up, but you couldn't play a game. Like, something was wrong with it. I don't know if, like, the hard drive was fucked up or anything like that. I have no idea. Maybe it could have been fixed. I don't know. It looked like it was really fucked up, though. So, I have no idea. I remember being blown away by MW2 when it came out. Oh my god, the fucking memories. I'm actually, on my second channel, I'm actually making a video looking back at Modern Warfare 2 and, you know, what it was like playing that game for the first time and how getting into the Call of Duty series, which, you know, I've been into for 11 years at this point. It's crazy. 11 years of Modern Warfare 2, like Dr. Dan said. Crazy. Hard to believe it's been 11 years. That's half of my life. 11 years. I'm 22. Insane, right? Sailor Mercury, welcome to the stream. I originally got Xbox 360, then moved to PS3 because I was sick of buying Xbox Live. And ironically, now you have no fucking choice if you're on console. I think Sailor Mercury, you're better off, like, you know, I guess it's expensive, but, like, save up money for a gaming PC and just never look back. Fuck these consoles, man. And all those Japanese porn games that you're into, you'll have no problem playing those. Because you know they won't release them on the PS4, but on the fucking, on Steam or whatever. Like, on PC, you'll have no problem playing those games because they're not as censored. So, that's something you should think about. James Braselton, hard drives only last year to 5, yes sir, till death. I don't even know what the fuck. Oh, hard drives only last up to 5 years till death. I don't know. I don't know what you said. Oh, had 11 HDD failures on all kinds HDD technology. Oh, so you're saying hard drives in general are fucking shit. Well, they are, but like I said, my PS3 Slim, no problem. Like, I haven't had any issues at all with my PS3 Slim. I've had an issue with my PS4. It keeps fucking beeping. It goes beep 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 beep. Because the fucking, like, instead of using an actual button like you had on the PS2 where, like, hey, if you want to you press the power button and the eject button like it was an actual button. Now it's some fucking bullshit sensor. I can't tell you how many times, man, where I just had, like, my foot not touching it, but, like, just, like, I guess, like, the sensor picked up my motion and just turned off my PS4. So frustrating. But the sensor, the eject sensor is, like, fucked up, and it keeps going beep, 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 and while I'm in the middle of a game, it just ejects my disc. I tried everything. I tried putting, like, paperweights under it, everything I've seen, trying to take the console apart. So, my PS4 is a little bit fucked up, but I don't play it anyway, so it doesn't affect me. My Xbox One has a bit of an issue where if I I put a disc in, sometimes, like, it eats it. Not eats it, but, like, it won't accept it. Like, it gives a little bit of resistance, and it makes, like, this fucking weird fucking sound, and it just doesn't read the disc. That happens, like, half the time I try to inject the disc. So, yeah, I guess my PS4 and Xbox One are both a little fucked up, but my old consoles, my PS2 is still working great. My Sega Dreamcast is working great. And my Xbox 360 actually gave away to a friend because I have backwards compatibility, so why not just give it away? Let's see. Western Digital is the best, but you can't go that wrong with HDDs. Just avoid Seagate like the plague. Funny that you say that, because guess what I have? I have fucking Seagate. I have Seagate hard drives. Because they were like the cheapest ones I can find. It was like $80 for two terabytes. I'm like, fuck yeah. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. It's funny you say that. You should have told me that 2 or 3 years ago. But I don't even think we knew each other 2 or 3 years ago, Magna Master. I mean, I think you knew who I was, but you definitely didn't want to associate with me. I was the console king. Yeah. But I'm starting to get a little tired. Like, my voice is all fucked up and everything. I think in the next 10 minutes by 2 a.m., which is, I guess, it's 1:47, so 13 minutes. I'm going to cut this stream. So, if you guys have any last-minute questions or comments, definitely leave them now, because who knows the next time I'll be streaming, because you guys know I do, like, a stream every, like, 2 or 3 times a year. I stream very sporadically. Dr. Dan says, I can really just use PCSX2 to play my PS2 games, as they would probably look better. They probably look and run better. Yeah, they definitely do. Especially on those TVs. Composite cables they look like fucking shit. And even with an HDMI converter, like, the HDI converters fucking suck. Like, they don't even take up the full screen. You still have black bars, and it's just, I hate it. I fucking hate black bars. Like, am I the only one that fucking hates them? Like, on anything? Like, back in the day with the DVDs, when you had DVDs, I mean, I guess you still have them, but, like, back when you had a thing called Blockbuster, you walk into the store and you rent movies, I would always pick full screen over widescreen. I fucking hate, if I have a screen, I want the entire screen. I don't care if it looks a little stretched. I'd rather see that than black bars. Fuck black bars. I'll tell you that. I appreciate your dedication, Magna Master. I was holding in a piss I needed to take for the entire stream now, and have been starving for hours. Well, if you no one's stopping you from leaving. I won't be offended if you do. Samurai Edge, do you think Microsoft will come out on top next generation, knowing their track record for this? No. I don't think they're going to. I think Microsoft, as far as the Xbox Series X and PS5, I think it's going to be a similar story to what we had this generation, where, you know, the Xbox isn't a complete failure, but it's also not like a huge success. Like, it won't even come close to reaching the sales numbers that the PS5 will reach. And of course, we don't have all the information yet. Like, as far as the games and everything, like, we don't know anything. But I just think Sony and the PlayStation brand, whether you like it or not, the fact is, the public trusts Sony more than they trust Microsoft. You know, the Xbox One was a huge letdown. The PS4, in my opinion, was also a letdown, but not on the level of the Xbox One. And I just think Sony is in a much stronger position. Maybe they'll fuck it up. You know, they did fuck it up with the PS3. You know, they were so overconfident because of how successful the PS2 was. Maybe history will repeat itself. But I have a feeling that the PlayStation 5 is going to obliterate the Xbox Series X as far as sales numbers go. I just don't see it happening any other way. Like, I think Sony wins this next generation, and we might see the last of Xbox. It's very possible. Maybe they'll just stick with PC or go multi-platform. And that sounds like a very bold prediction, but I think it's very possible. And notice I seldom mentioned Nintendo during this stream. Like, I barely mentioned the Nintendo Switch. I think within the next, like, year or two, I think the Switch is really going to become not irrelevant, but it's not going to sell as fast as it's been selling the past 2 or 3 years. Like, the sales are definitely going to start to decline a little bit. Definitely with newer hardware, you know, a lot of the momentum the Switch has been building is probably going to fall down a little bit. I do think they're going to make a Switch 2. I think the Switch is too successful for them not to make a sequel to the Switch. Kind of like they made a sequel to the Wii with the Wii U that didn't work out very well. But Nintendo's definitely going to try another Switch, like a more powerful Switch next generation. Whether that's, I guess that would be like 2023. Because Nintendo said that we're halfway through the Switch's life cycle. Let's see. Yeah, Dr. Dan, your stream mod. And I'll try to stream more often. Silly Mercury says, same here, full screen is preferred. Magnum Master says, not a fan of black bars, but I will take it over Stretch personally. Well, to each their own, right? If we have the option of choosing, then it doesn't matter, like, what my preference is over yours, as long as we have options. That's why I love PC so much, because you can choose your resolutions, you can choose your frame rates, you can customize your entire experience, and I know I sound like a fucking fanboy, and I keep reiterating this point over and over again, but it's true. That's why I love PC so much, because of how versatile, how many options you have. Let's see. Memes and Dreams. With the new console, I was like, oh, it's the same shit with 120 hertz. James Joden, Series X has to be the worst name for a console. Well, from my understanding, they're going to have, like, different names. Like, Series X implies it's a series of consoles. So they have, like, a Project Lockhart is, like, the less powerful version of the main Series X console. And then eventually you'll have, like, a more powerful version. And, you know, my original thought was that the Xbox One X was going to be part of this Series X, so that maybe you'll have some games that can run on the One X, but not on the original Xbox One. But the fact that they discontinued the Xbox One X, you know, maybe scratch my head a little bit, saying maybe that's not the case. Maybe just the Xbox One X is done. But I'm very surprised about that, because you think people who bought a new console in 2017, Microsoft will try to accommodate them. I mean, they are. I mean, they keep. Fucking Phil Spencer keeps saying cross-gen gaming, right? So, I guess we won't have to even think about that for a while, as far as, like, games not being able to run on the old gen, which, you know, may be good for some, but not so good for others who, you know, want their games to actually be better than they are right now. You know, definitely technology is a limiting factor. As far as Sony, Sailor Mercury says it's sad because Sony has been so anti-consumer lately, doesn't deserve top spot. Wish Nintendo wasn't on their own island and competitive. Yeah, definitely. Like, Nintendo needs to make a dedicated console to compete directly with Sony. Personally, I don't like the Switch. You know, I know a lot of people do, but I don't think the Switch should be, like, Nintendo's main thing. Like, it makes sense, like, logistically. They had two Nintendos. There was handheld Nintendo and console Nintendo, and now it's combined to one, and it's a lot more streamlined. They can come out with a lot more games that way, and it's just a lot more practical, and it's just better for them, I guess. But I think maybe they're better off just cutting off the handheld entirely, and maybe releasing a handheld, but it's just like a portable version of, let's say, whatever Nintendo's next console would be. Even like, let's say if it's not Switch 2, it's like another console. It'd be cool if, like, 4 years later, after that, Nintendo just releases, like, a portable version of it. So you kind of keep handheld gaming alive, but it doesn't, like, become, like, a big focus. I don't know. Because I love handhelds, but the Switch is not a real handheld, in my opinion. 2 hours of battery life, the Joy-Con drift is fucking annoying, and the screen, it's too big to be a real handheld. Like, it's almost as big as a fucking Game Gear. I think it's bigger. Yeah. When I fucking grew up, a handheld you could fit in your fucking pocket. So, we definitely have come a long way, in a bad way, when it comes to handhelds. The Switch ain't a handheld. Samurai Edge, do you think Nintendo needs more variety in their exclusives? To me, it seems like Nintendo is just going with GameCube exclusives, Animal Crossing, Smash, Zelda, Mario. Where's Metroid? Well, my whole thing is, like, where are the M-rated games? I know it's like, oh my god, why do you expect Nintendo to make M-rated games? Like, you don't understand. But, like, thing is, like, man, when I buy a console, I like it to be versatile, to be diverse. That's what I love so much about the PS3. I consider it one of the best consoles of all time because, yeah, they had those, like, kiddie games, I guess you could call them. Little Big Planet, Mod Nation Racers, Ratchet and Clank, which I guess wasn't really kiddie because there's a lot of sexual innuendo and jokes. But you know what I mean, like those like games that were made for specifically for younger audiences, but you also had the M-rated games that were made for mature audiences, and Sony had you covered no matter what. But with the Nintendo, it's just games that are E-rated. I think Breath of the Wild was E10. Oh my god. But you know what I mean. It's like, I think the big thing is Nintendo's exclusive can have more variety, but in terms of not just the way the games are played, but for the types of gamers that should be attracted to it. Like, that's the reason why the PlayStation 1 was so fucking awesome, because they had Crash Bandicoot, but you also had all the other, Twisted Metal, all these other fucking exclusives that were for mature audiences. So I think that's a good way Nintendo can diversify and make it a more inclusive platform. And as far as like the whole like not wanting to ruin their kid-friendly reputation, like, I think in 2020 we're kind of past that. Like, we should be past that. Like, if you're a parent and you want to get a Nintendo console, that's fine. If you don't want them to play the M-rated games, don't let them play them. Have parental controls, whatever the fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really think the whole kid-friendly reputation really matters as much as it did in 1990 when Nintendo really took that shit seriously. Like, censoring blood from Mortal Kombat, you know what I mean? In front of the Super Nintendo. James Rassleton. What about news? Wait, graphic battery. I did not understand that comment. I apologize. I don't know what the fuck you're writing. Let's see. Nintendo. Dr. Dan says Nintendo has made M-rated games before. There was an M-rated game on the Wii, but I don't think it was published by Nintendo. It was called the Red Steel series. Red Steel 1, Red Steel 2. I don't remember Nintendo developing an M-rated GameCube game. But if anyone knows about that game, leave a comment, because I've never heard of it. Magnamaster, it was mating season. How could you know? How could I have known she was your sister? Captain Quark. Oh, man. Captain Quark is the fucking man. Memes or dreams. How do you feel about the hype around Cyberpunk? I feel like a lot of people are hyped about it, and then at launch day, they're going to bitch and complain, because, of course they are. They're going to bitch and complain that the game is not available in third person, even though CD Projekt Red has made it clear that the game is only available in first person. But even though this is something we've known for a while, when the game actually comes out, it's still something people are going to bitch and complain about and say, I feel robbed, I feel like I didn't make, I feel like I wasted my money, even though CD Projekt Red has been very transparent about what their vision is for Cyberpunk, and people expect a futuristic Witcher, and I think that's the wrong way of looking at the game. So I think a lot of people are going to complain and bitch, but overall I think it's going to be, people are going to like it. I don't think I'm going to buy it at launch. I think I'll wait a little bit, because I'm not the type of person to just rush and buy a new game. But it's definitely one of those games I'm keeping a close eye on, because it looks good, it looks promising, and CD Projekt Red is like one of the only developers left that actually has a trustworthy reputation, right? And Samurai Edge, I think even the Xbox 360 had variety. It had RPGs, open world FPS arcade titles like Castlevania. Forza was also on there for racing fans. PlayStation with racing, not very good. What do you have? Drive Club? Drive Club? Gran Turismo? No. To be fair, though, I don't really give a fuck about racing games, but for people who do, Xbox is probably better. I don't know anything about batteries, so I can't really answer that. Like, I only use batteries. For some reason, I still use batteries on this fucking thing. But other than that, like, I don't really think about batteries too much. Sailor Mercury, Nintendo first-party titles are too limited. I agree that no one really cares about the Disney-style kid-friendly branding anymore. I know more adults into Nintendo than kids. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, most people who are into Nintendo are like 30-somethings that can definitely handle a little bit of blood. You know what I mean? Dr. Dan, Nintendo learned the hard way that censoring M-rated games was a terrible move after their version of Mortal Kombat 1 sold like dog shit. It's why they allow M-rated games on their consoles now, although they still seem to not allow all kinds of M-rated games, notably GTA. If Nintendo had GTA, they probably couldn't make serious bank, in all honesty. Nintendo doesn't have a problem with having M-rated games on their platform, because you have Doom, you have all these other, M-rated games that they publish. But Nintendo has a problem with actually, like, directly associating themselves with M-rated games, like, developing them for some reason. Like, they still want to, like, keep that reputation. Like, if it's made by Nintendo, it was family-friendly, it's just, it's stupid. It's like 1990s way of thinking. That's pretty much Nintendo's business model in a fucking nutshell, with their online infrastructure, with everything. Like, they run a business in 2020 like it's 1990. So I just don't understand like why they do that, but whatever. Magnum Master says, I'm not hyped for Cyberpunk, but I'm not against the idea of checking it out. Sailor Mercury says, Cyberpunk looks fantastic. I trust CD Projekt Red more than even Rockstar Games. James Brandleston says, what about next-gen superior batteries? I mean, why are we still even talking about batteries? Why? Like, I think consoles... Okay, yeah, obviously, like, rechargeable batteries and all that shit, but... in general, like, I don't think we should really worry about that. Like... I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about... That's the one thing I don't really have a lot of knowledge about, so I'll admit that, but whatever. Let's see. Dr. Daniel... Main issue is that their consoles are never as strong as the other consoles, especially the PC, definitely. Like, I think the Nintendo Switch is, like, in between a PS3 and a PS4 in terms of graphics, which is not good. I think that's a big thing holding Nintendo back from third-party support. And Memes or Dreams, I think it's funny how people are building Cyberpunk-themed gaming PCs when the game isn't out. Yeah. Those are all good points. But I think I'm going to wrap it up because I've been streaming for like 2.5 hours and I'm kind of getting tired. Last of Us Part 2, I mentioned it earlier, I don't think you were there. I don't really care about all the controversy, like with the whole like campaign and all that shit, but the multiplayer, it's disappointing that you didn't have any online multiplayer. Like, it's pretty fucking frustrating, you know what I mean? Like, that you didn't have any of that. That's the main reason why I didn't support that game, because you take half the content from the original out. What, like, it's fucking... I think that's unacceptable. Where the fuck is the multiplayer? That's my whole concern about The Last of Us. Magnum Master, I trust Rockstar as far as I can throw their publisher, CEO, Mansion. Take-Two can go fuck themselves. Switch Lite is less powerful than my PS4, but better than the Vita. Last Rockstar game I bought was GTA 4. GTA 4 is fucking amazing. Yeah, I fucking love GTA 4. Awesome game. But, yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. I've been streaming for a while. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This stream turned out really well. I'm really happy with it. I had a really good time, and I hope you guys did also. So... I'm gonna have to say goodnight because I'm just fucking tired and I'm loopy, being up for a long time. It's way past my bedtime. I usually don't stay up past like 1 in the morning, so I'm up like later than usual. But whatever. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys again soon. I promise to stream more often. I promise. Thank you guys.